Welcome to the RawDawgers Sportscast Live. I'm Sean Watson.
I'm Ryan Kessler.
I'm Josh Myers.
It's very, very special guest, Josh Myers, Patriots super fan, Josh Myers. Myers, hold up your arm. This is a super fan right here. Now, who's on the back of your jersey?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. You have to be a super fan to wear a fucking Mac Jones jersey. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Give the guy a break. His rookie year, he was the best of all the quarterbacks taken.
I know.
Went to the playoffs.
And everybody was talking about, we wouldn't get into that, but everybody was talking about how, Mac Jones just fell in Belichick's lap that year. How's that looking?
Well, they wanted Justin Fields, which I don't know if that'd be any better.
No, I'm completely off of Fields. I really am. Do I think Justin Fields can have success in another offense? Yeah.
Anywhere but Chicago?
Yeah. And what's his name? Eberflus?
Yeah.
First or last?
Eberflus.
Eberflus. Anyway, Josh, we appreciate you coming on. I've said something to you about coming on for a while now.
Yes,
so always,
yes.
We've had a Steelers fan on here. We're going to have a Bengals fan here before too long, right, Ryan? I think you're going to have somebody on with a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
And so all's welcome. We're just growing.
Yeah, I do feel like a pilgrim in an unholy land with all this bullshit behind me.
Well, how about Mike behind me? How you feel about him?
I don't appreciate the sign on him, because I don't agree.
So he is your GOAT. We were going to talk about basketball.
No, we're not.
Okay, we're not going to do it. I mean, we were leading the show off with NFL.
He don't play basketball no more.
No, he doesn't. Well, he barely played basketball when he did.
Oh, please.
He was gambling more than golfing, wasn't he? Shooting Hanes commercials.
That's why he had to win.
Well, he needed all those endorsements to pay off his fucking gambling sharks is what it needed to happen.
Got to hit that shot off over Craig Elo, that great defender.
All right. Former Browns fan, right? Tell us a little bit about. Please, you've explained this to me, but talk to me about this a little bit. Around what time that happened? I know it was in the 90s. Go ahead.
I grew up a Browns fan. My dad was. He got season tickets, went to the home games, all that. Browns left Cleveland.
Old Municipal Stadium.
The old
Municipal Stadium.
The urinals was the old horse
troughs.
Troughs with the ice cubes in it to keep the smell down.
I was there for the very last game. And I've talked about it on the pod. But so why though? Why did you want? Is it because of Modell moving the team and him wanting to move the team? And basically, is that what it came down to? Is the ownership? And Modell just being pissed off at that whole situation. I mean, all of us were pissed off about it when we were losing the Browns.
Because the Browns were supposed to go to the Super Bowl that year. They were the only undefeated team that year prior to Modell saying he's moving.
Right. And so
then after that, they lost every single game.
Yeah, because you feel like you just kind of lost the locker room at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, Biner was still on the team, right?
That's the second stint.
Langhorne.
No, Langhorne, I think
was he gone by then?
Yeah,
Are we talking 95?
Yeah, he and Slaughter were gone.
Metcalf was there, right?
Yeah, because when they moved, they traded Metcalf to Kansas City.
Okay, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Leroy
Horde was there.
Yes,
Pepper Johnson.
Yes,
Testaverde still there.
Testaverde was
Michael
there.
Dean Perry.
I think that was.
Was that after or a little bit before that? A little bit before
I think he retired.
He retired
before
like
that.
93 or something.
Yeah. It was right around there, but I mean, like I said, I'm not going to relive this story, but I went to that very last game, and there was just Muck Fodell shirts. I was only 18 at the time. And, I was a senior in high school, and I'm like,
well, he had already moved.
Holy shit! I mean,
yeah, he got the fuck out.
I mean, just to go to that very last game though that year, I was just blown away by what was going on. I mean, I wish I had one of these at the time because it would have been because everything now just. There's some very grainy YouTube videos where people, I don't know if they had like a gigantic Magnavox the size of a ghetto blaster on their shoulder, but
people with hand saws going in, cutting their seats out.
Right.
Yes. So I was a victim, not victim of that. I was an observer of all that. And what's funny is like guys walking out of there with their whole like just there was one group of guys I remember that they walked out of there with like 3 or 4 seats together, and they had sheriffs or I guess it would have been Mansfield or not Mansfield, Cleveland Municipal cops that were at the tunnels, and they were just letting them go.
Oh yeah.
But if you just had like a piece that you broke and it looked like it was a shiv,
Yeah.
they're making you throw it away. I remember that. I remember that a lot. So
I wonder if anybody took the troughs out of the bathroom.
that would have been
Yeah.
At this point, do you think that you still could have got that smell? I mean, it's 2023, about to be 2024. Could you have got that smell out of there?
I would have just took them out and threw
I
them
mean, it would have taken a lot of bleach soaking for 2 or 3 years. Because the ice cubes didn't work.
Maybe that acid that the Terminator got dunked in.
I would have took one of those bitches out and threw it on Three Rivers Stadium.
Oh,
Probably would have smelled the same.
God. So let me ask you this, though. I mean, Belichick guy, Brady guy, Kraft guy at the Garden of Eden handjob club. That got covered up. No. I mean, I know you're going to get your shots in on Watson here, but I mean, Kraft was doing this shit way before that. So, but nobody talks about that anymore.
I look at it this way. When the report come out that, we know he did it this day. Well, that's the day they went to Kansas City, won in overtime, went to the Super Bowl. The second time he was caught was when they won the Super Bowl. So, hey.
Happy endings all around.
Ain't no wonder we're losing because the feds are watching you.
But seriously, I mean, what really, you had to be like a Belichick guy even off the get. You know, you're talking like 94.
Yeah, 95 was the last season.
Right.
When they moved, he got fired. He was the only one on the staff that was fired.
Okay.
The coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Bill Parcells, who was coaching New England.
Yes.
Became D coordinator. And I'd always liked Drew Bledsoe.
Right.
So I'm like, well.
But then he had a stint with the Jets, though, right? Very, very quick stint
13
with the Jets.
minutes as a head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but.
He signed his resignation on a napkin.
Right. But, I mean, you had to follow that guy. There must have been something there that you saw.
The defense.
And you like.
I mean, even those Cleveland defenses when, in the 90s, when I think his first season he was 6-10.
Right.
And then next season was 7-9. The season after that it was 9-7. So it was improving, but the defense was always stout. It was the offense, but that's when he brought in coaches like Nick Saban, Mangini, Jim Schwartz,
right,
Kirk Ferentz.
I mean, all these coaches that
Ferentz on that club too. Wow, just the defensive juggernaut. That tree, the Parcells tree.
Yeah, and then if you also look at what Ozzie did in Baltimore, building a team.
True.
He shadowed Bill Belichick all 4 years.
Right.
He was on the staff. He didn't play.
Right.
But he was just a shadow.
Right.
Because he was going to be a GM one day.
So, but you were a Bledsoe fan.
Yeah.
So you followed Belichick, and then you're just.
Well, I stayed with the Patriots even during the Pete Carroll years, which is the joke.
It's rough. It's a rough thing to talk about.
Well, hey, I look at
the Browns dodged that bullet.
I look at this way. When Pete Carroll took over the Patriots head coaching job, he said, "I promise, I will get the Patriots to win a Super Bowl."
Okay.
Well, I mean, granted, it took years later when he was coaching Seattle by not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the goal line. But hey, he kept his word. He got us a Super Bowl ring.
He did. All right. With that in mind, anyway, you're pulling for the Browns in the playoffs or beyond at any time.
Not until they build a statue of Paul Brown.
They have one.
They do?
Right outside the stadium.
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you, numbnuts, once, and you're like, "Oh no, there's Jim Brown, Otto Graham. There's no."
Oh, you say Paul Brown?
Paul Brown.
Oh,
no, Jim Brown.
Said Jim Brown. Yeah, there's a Jim Brown.
There's Jim Brown. Yeah, Paul Brown.
No, I didn't think there was a Paul Brown either.
No, there's not a Paul Brown.
Well,
there's one in Massillon.
Well, true.
All right. So until they build that statue,
I won't pull for him
you will not pull
at
for
all. And it pains me to say it because I grew up a Browns fan.
Absolutely.
But when it has, I'm going to pull his head out of his ass.
Well, you probably have to eat a bunch of Skyline chili now to.
Right. So just with the new ownership, Andrew Berry being the new GM, just talk to me about how do you feel this new regime's doing? With what's Andrew Berry doing? Are you happy with what they're doing?
It's the best regime since Butch Davis was there.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Actual.
So, do you think people need to...
I don't think they should have gotten rid of some of the players they've gotten rid of, like Donovan Peoples-Jones. Because, Joe Flacco probably could have used him against the Rams.
Did they know that they were going to sign Joe Flacco at that time? Because that was before the trade deadline.
I'd have signed Joe Flacco before Deshaun Watson any day.
Here we go. We're going to get into that.
That was the biggest waste of money. That is highway robbery.
5-1 as a starter this year.
5-1. That's true.
The defense is 5-1.
Well,
the defense didn't win that game in Baltimore.
They didn't. You have to admit that.
But Watson didn't play the whole game either.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And
No, he got hurt, and then
he missed one play.
he had a fractured
still,
shoulder, and he
that's
still
one
went
play.
14 for 14, didn't he? Or 15 for 15? The second half?
Miles Garrett and soy sauce carried him through that game.
All right.
What's his name? Oh, Taki. Yeah.
Taki.
Soy sauce. That's why I call him soy sauce.
Can't say that. You're fitting right in.
I don't know.
I love it. All right.
I've been looking for a Washington Redskins hat to wear.
Oh,
I'm out on the
absolutely.
job.
Oh, trust me.
I hope
Trust
they
me,
change
we're all
that.
up. We're all about that. Of course, we got into that too. Of course, Dan Snyder's out there. He's just he moved to the Bahamas now. He's been buried in sand, just hoping that some debutantes come in there with the scantily-clad dress wear.
He had nothing to do with any of that.
You don't think so?
No. The women already said he wasn't even there. But they did tell him this is what was happening, and he ignored it.
Okay. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And it's not a problem Deshaun Watson had.
Well, I was going to say that. So who's more guilty, Dan Snyder or Deshaun Watson? And remember, those are accusations.
Who's more guilty? The 63-year-old lady that was jerking off Bob Kraft is more at fault.
Was she 63?
I think she was in the late 50s.
I mean, with that kind of money, I would have got like some little hot ching-ching to come and whack me.
Maybe he's got some mommy issues.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But all right. Well, I want to get into the Pats Steelers game last night, Thursday Night Football on Amazon. Going to say this again. Jeff Bezos, is he going to sue the NFL for giving him the shittiest fucking games
I thought
possible?
he sold Amazon.
Huh?
I thought he sold Amazon.
No. He had to give his wife, because of the divorce, he had to give his wife like a good chunk of the money from Amazon. But I'm sure she's probably still getting alimony. But I haven't heard that he sold Amazon. That's breaking news to me.
I could have swore he sold it.
No. What do we got in there?
That he's still on the board, though.
Jordan Ward, thank you, as always, for being in the chat. What's he saying, Ryan?
He says, now I know the 7-Up product wasn't stocked to top specifications at $5.57. The guy's hanging out with you degenerates. Josh has had too many Busch Lights.
Wait, Tom, it's my first one.
Look, this is my first one. Next week,
It's a big one, too.
Next week, he's bringing a keg in here just so he can say I only had one.
Dude, we should get one of those beer dispensing hats.
Absolutely.
Happy Gilmore.
So, Patriots, Steelers last night, over under, possibly a record over or record under. It was like 30.5. I think it settled at 30.5. Everybody was all over the under in that game. I mean, what the Patriots put up like the previous week, 6 points in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. And they've lost by, just in case you guys forget who you're talking to. At least somebody in here knows championship football.
Oh, I love it.
Hey,
I love it.
It comes and then it goes.
It comes and it goes. You got a lot. You've got one for every Super Bowl.
I've got the first four. I need the Falcons and the Rams, the 5th and 6th.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I like it. All right. I know you said that you just saw bits and pieces of the game. I actually didn't turn the game on until after half. But
I have a friend who lives in Pittsburgh.
oh God, I'm sorry.
I went to school with him, but he moved back to Pittsburgh because that's where he was originally from.
All right.
Big Steelers fan.
Right.
I was talking to him on Facebook.
Still a friend.
He's like, I ain't gonna bother watching because it's gonna be the final score. It's gonna be an overtime game. It's gonna be 2-0. Somebody's gonna get lucky and get a safety.
Right.
And I kind of thought that would happen. Like if the over/under got blown, my feeling was it was going to happen like on a special teams play or like a pick six or something like that. That might have done it. I actually thought that would probably be the winning score. I mean, if you would have told me there was 4 touchdowns in that game last night, I would have laughed at you. And along with almost everybody on the Joe Public side. The game ended up being what, 21-18? 21-18, that's right. That's right, 21-18.
So are you pissed off because it fucked up the draft positioning?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to us about that a little bit. So you're actually rooting against the Patriots.
Helped us out.
Right? We're going to get into that too.
True. We need a higher draft pick. And I know I'm going to get flack for this. Not to get a quarterback.
Okay. Wow.
In my perfect world, if Belichick leaves, Mike Vrabel takes that position.
Okay.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
Mike Vrabel drafts Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's who you want for number 1.
Well, you got to think, whether it's Mac Jones, Zappy, or Cunningham throwing the ball, they got nobody to throw the ball to. Like,
right.
Granted, Hunter Henry caught 2 touchdown passes last night, but he's been. This is his 3rd season. Where the hell have you been the past 2 seasons?
Right.
He was just a glorified offensive lineman. And when he did run a route, he'd drop every pass you threw to him.
Austin Hooper.
we feel your pain.
Yeah, definitely.
So, your take on the game last night. Hunter Henry with the 2 touchdowns. You had Zeke out there. I mean, I think he still only had like 68 yards rushing. Zeke
don't have the tread he used to have.
No, he doesn't.
And granted,
I will tell you this.
I will say they do need to give him the ball more.
Yeah. And he does.
He can pound it through get you 3 yards.
For what I saw, even on the touchdown reception that he had, the 11-yarder, I mean, he could still scoot. I mean, you get him out in space. If he's able to break, A, B gaps or whatever, he's going to get out.
Offensive line isn't that great either.
It's the worst it's been since 2000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The reason Brady was so good for so long in New England.
I love this. Go ahead.
And do your research. The best offensive line.
Right.
For 20 years, New England had the best offensive line. So, he could stand back there and pick his nose, wipe his ass, and then throw the ball.
Right.
And somebody was coming down with it.
Right. No, this feeds into what I've been saying for a long time, that Brady is not the GOAT.
The hell? What's wrong with you?
I get that a lot, but you have just cracked the code.
I mean,
somebody's got to throw the. You're telling me
what quarterback has had a shit line and had a great career?
That's true.
Like GOAT status career.
Ryan Leaf.
No, yeah. He didn't need a line to hang himself.
But
other than Randy Moss, name anybody Tom Brady threw to you knew was going to be top notch when you watched him in college.
Oh no.
College?
Oh, the Kent State guy.
Edelman?
Yeah.
Who played quarterback?
I saw him at Kent State, man. He was phenomenal.
He's the only Patriot passer with a perfect rating. Didn't throw 1 incompletion.
Wow.
Threw 3 passes, all 3 went for touchdowns.
My argument's been this, okay? And I really am a Belichick guy. I'm not a Brady guy. And it's getting disproven because Belichick he hasn't been able to
He's not a GM.
Win without Brady now. Where Brady has already won a Super Bowl now. He won it at Tampa.
Belichick's in his 70s.
I know. Okay.
He was winning games in Cleveland with no offensive line with colorblind Vinny Testaverde.
Well, he's still a defensive-minded guy.
That's why he needs a good offensive coach. That's the problem that's been the past.
Bill O'Brien ain't it?
Well,
I Bill O'Brien was the reason we got rid of Randy Moss.
Okay.
Well, and I think there's a definitely need a better offensive coordinator, and they need a better GM.
They need Josh McDaniels.
Well, I was going to ask you that. So is Josh McDaniels going to go to get recycled? Is he going to come back? Are you saying Vrabel's going to be the head coach and Josh McDaniels will be the OC?
If they pay Belichick off to go away,
okay.
Vrabel comes in. I think they offer Josh McDaniels. I don't think they beg him.
No.
I just don't see Vrabel leaving a culture he built in Tennessee.
Yeah, but the thing is, and Sean and I have talked about this in the past, he doesn't get along with ownership. He got along with Bud Adams' daughter, but when she sold the team, because she let him do, he picked the players, picked the coaching staff. When she sold the team, and that team brought in the GM they have now, they don't get along. He did not want the quarterback they took from Liberty. He didn't want the latest quarterback they just drafted. He didn't want them to trade A.J. Brown.
Will Levis looks pretty damn good, though.
I mean, granted, compared to Ryan Tan, my ass, yeah.
It still looks like a quality starter in the future.
If you get receivers around him, why would you trade A.J. Brown? And if you go back to that draft when they traded...
Well, they got DeAndre Hopkins.
They did. But...
The guy can still make a test.
He's collecting AARP next year.
Still productive. Fucking Randy Moss was good until he was 38.
Bo Nix.
Randy Moss was good. Randy Moss is different. Like, you can't...
DeAndre Hopkins is only like 31.
And he's been beaten to the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, he missed, 8 games in Arizona or almost the whole season?
The guy had like one of the best catch rates, like, all. He might have the record.
I'm not saying he ain't great. He is.
Right.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
No, it was stupid to trade A.J. Brown, but that's not that
they can't. But what I'm saying is when they traded him, if you go back and watch that draft, you see the look on Vrabel's face.
Oh, he was pissed.
Yeah, and walked out of the room.
Right.
He doesn't want to be there. I think he's just there waiting to get fired.
Okay. Vrabel is?
Yeah.
Unless he gets
their
there
bye
this
week.
year,
bye week, he attended the Patriots game.
I did hear
in
about
New England.
that. I heard that Kraft had him at the suites.
Yep.
Whining and dining him.
He was put into the Patriot Hall of Fame, and then he spoke at halftime.
Wow.
And said, "We need to win this game." Now, granted, we've only won 3 games, so you know damn well we lost that game. But still.
I don't know. I just feel like if they were gonna do it, they would already fired Bill.
You cannot fire Bill. You can't turn this into Jerry Jones and Tom Landry. You have to let Bill Belichick leave on his own terms. Now, whether that's you want to go coach the Chargers, I'll take a draft pick.
Let's get into that. Or that's part of it too. So let's say Kraft wants to go ahead and trade Belichick. Now, obviously...
And I would let Belichick pick the team he wants to go to.
Yeah, and I think he's going to. Just the respect there. He's going to do that. So, what kind of draft pick are you going to get for that? Are you going to get a 1?
I mean,
if it's the Chargers, you're getting a 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
you got a 1.
Because
they got a 1 for Sean Payton.
They've sat
right,
on...
that's my point. You got a 1 for Peyton, right? Which Denver's been coming on this year.
It took a while.
It did.
You're still not going to catch Kansas City because it took too long for you
to... I mean, they're still in the mix for the wild card, though. I mean, they did. I mean, and everybody was down on his shit, when he had the murderers row down in South Beach, where they hung 70 on him.
Everybody about let Russ cook. Russ can't cook my McDonald's double cheeseburger, okay? that dude is done.
We are in agreement
He's
there.
Done.
We're in agreement there.
He wasn't good when he was in Seattle. It was all the Legion of Boom. And you had Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
And Pete Carroll lost your second Super Bowl opportunity.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Oh, we're big on the let's ride Russ train here. So just to let you know. So
I see them getting rid of him.
Getting back to the game last night.
Money on the books. Yeah.
Getting back to the game last night, though. I did watch, all the second half. I thought they fired Matt Canada. Because there was a point there where Trubisky
he forgot to take his playbook with him, and they didn't know what else to use.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Because there was a time there where they were down in. I think they swapped the interception, and then it was a block punt for Pittsburgh, and then there's a pass interference call that put Trubisky and the Steelers' offense down on the 1. First down on the 1, and they throw a tight end to tight end pass attempt, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? It's just run a fucking vanilla play. Run Najee Harris, or they ended up going second down, just taking Trubisky. Thank God, because the pass almost got intercepted. They dressed 4 tight ends last night. Pittsburgh did, by the way. I heard that on the broadcast. So it was tight end to tight end. It almost got picked. But then they decided to go ahead and run it. So on the second down, they scored. That was the only score in the second half. Then the second half kind of became what you felt the whole game was probably going to be. And there you go, 21-18. But it was even still down. You were kind of still biting your nails at the end because you weren't sure if they were going to use who was going to fuck up. Like if Tomlin was going to fuck up like the timing, like because they got it back.
He's good at.
Yeah. Talk to me about Mike Tomlin a little bit. What do you think about them?
I have the utmost respect for him.
Do you?
As a coach.
You don't think he's overrated?
No, I don't agree with him when he gets out there and starts bashing Belichick all the time.
Right.
Like he usually does.
It's envy, right? It's envy on top. Is he ass? I mean, is Tomlin really that good? I mean, I know all these years he's like, well, he's never went below 500. And thank God we went to 17 games. Okay.
Well, now, if you get a tie.
Right.
You could be at 500.
Well,
True.
they were 8-7-1 the one year, right?
Right.
Or
yeah, they had the tie. Didn't they tie Buffalo week 1 the year before or some shit like that?
Yeah, it was early in the season.
Yeah, it was. I think it was game 1 or maybe game 2. They tied him, and it basically saved him from being sub 500, right?
Yeah.
So here's my point.
Well, here's with Tomlin though, he's not Belichick to where he's picking the players. They have a GM.
He's not the GM, right? True.
Well, it's also like what does he do?
I put it this way: when it comes to this year, and Tomlin, he's trying to make a fruit salad with a 5-pound bag of Italian onions. I mean, it just ain't gonna happen. You might get lucky and get a green bell pepper in there.
Sponsor? Hear me. Get Josh one too.
No,
Okay.
I still got half one.
Okay, all right. That's like a bottomless beer. There's like Busch Light going up from the table. So, here's my thing though. So now Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh is starting to show their ugly head. Whether you want to say Trubisky's worse than Kenny Pickett,
I mean, it's.
Are we saying that? That's tough. That's tough.
I think they have a better shot to win with Trubisky than they do Pickett.
They need somebody to throw the ball to.
What?
Yeah. They got Deontay Johnson. They
George
got George
Pickens
Pickens. I was watching.
Freiermuth's decent
one.
Freiermuth was getting up. I mean, he was getting them last.
Kenny don't throw the ball to Pickens. That's
Trubisky
their main problem.
wasn't either, and Pickens was over there doing his shit last night. I watched him on the sideline.
He's pissed.
Oh God, he was so pissed.
Hey, come to Cleveland, brother.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I'll take you over here at Cleveland.
Right, we'll send you a
Your
third
crazy
rounder.
ass.
Yeah, because you ain't got nobody else to catch the ball.
Well,
Cooper out.
We're gonna talk about that too, but
Moore did a hell of a job. He's the only one not dropping passes.
There's been a lot of drop passes with the Browns this year. We're like leading the league in drop passes. So I will throw that.
I don't know about that. I think
that's a stat.
I think my boys in
That is
blue.
an absolute stat.
Well, we're probably right behind you.
We have the highest drop percentage.
Mm-hmm.
To be 7-5 with the highest drop percentage, the worst turnover ratio.
Yes.
In the league,
that's defense though.
It's insane.
So we have the defense. The defense has been lacking.
Not the last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks. We'll get into that a little bit, but the defense hasn't been there the last 2 weeks. I believe I know the reason why it hasn't been there. and it has a guy that we paid a lot of money to, Denzel Ward, who, say what you want about Denzel Ward. Do you think my problem with him is he's injured so much, and if you don't have the availability, what good are you to us? But he's already been paid by the Browns, so but he does kind of shape that defense. Whether you're talking about you have a Mike linebacker,
it's like our Bob Sanders.
Yeah, if you have a Mike linebacker that's running that defense, if that guy's not in there, even though he's a corner, everything kind of revolves around him. And I'm going to make the argument that even Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett game, and I got the stats to back it up, their game depends on if Denzel Ward's in the game or not. Because Newsome ain't it.
Well, and you could tell, Newsome's definitely not it.
He's not it. And we're learning a lot about Newsome being the one. Sorry,
That's just a Charger. I mean, Newsome's not a one. He's a slot corner.
Right.
And people are going to get beat every now and again, but Newsome has been
beat
cooked.
A lot.
Cooked.
He's getting smoked.
You definitely always, I'd rather have Emerson on the better of the wide receivers if Ward's out.
I would too.
The front hasn't played well in 2 weeks.
It hasn't.
In 3 weeks.
Right.
Miles is banged up, but at the same time, it's like, dude, they have depth. At the beginning of the season, Darius was getting all the pressures. Obo was getting sacks. Freaking the D tackle Tomlinson.
Well, let's get into it right now. So I read this stat today. It was actually on who's the guy that covers writes the stuff for the Browns, Jeremiah Trotter, right? Read an article by him.
Yeah.
Yep. So I read the article from him. The Browns are actually, in the last 2 games, their pressures are down 18%.
Yeah.
So, and that is coming down. My belief is you're having to drop more guys into coverage, and you got less guys in the front. So you got less guys that are on the run. You got less stud-type linebackers, not stud, but stud position linebackers like a JOK. Delpit's not coming up.
He's been playing out of his mind, though.
Yeah, JOK. He has. No, but what I'm saying is because you're having to load more, drop more guys into coverage because you're trying to cover that vacancy that Ward would normally be there, it's not giving you an extra guy that you could maybe send up in that A gap or send somebody out on the outside like a Delpit and try to do like a safety blitz. So if they're only rushing those, they're rushing the 3 or 4 guys, which they weren't earlier in the season, then you're not getting that pressure. And it's been showing because Garrett last week really wasn't getting in, or the week before.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, people forget about Cam Mitchell going out in the beginning of the year, because when Denzel missed the game earlier in the year, it didn't seem like
that's true. That's true.
We missed the
You got
beat.
a point.
Mike Ford's a great special teams guy,
Right?
And can give you 5 or 10 reps on defense, but when he's got to be out there for 30 or 40 plays,
right,
you're not going to call the same game,
right?
And obviously, Newsome has had some bad games, and he's had some good games. So some guys are going to beat some guys. So hopefully that's not a trend.
So I think Schwartz is kind of
Ward's definitely a key there,
right? So I think Schwartz on the fly has had to definitely make some adjustments here. I'm not saying he's only being able to make the adjustments with the talent he has in the room,
right?
So if he's trying to make adjustments on the fly, Schwartz is going through the playbook. It's like, well, this guy's not, Newsome's not doing this. Walker, Taki, whoever, we're not able to cover all these guys. And when you talk about somebody like the Rams, you got somebody like Puka Kanua, could definitely be like a Rookie of the Year candidate. The guy's going out, not that I wish anybody ill will, getting hit.
I thought he was out for the year.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be out after that play. He got hurt, and
thought he broke his collarbone.
Hell, everybody's talking about Cooper Kupp who? I mean, you got this guy, which is the ultimate Redskin, by the way. Just the absolute, No, but I love the guy. I cannot dislike him. I mean, he's just fantastic, and I agree with the guys on the podcast. He's just fun to watch. And then you figure you got Kieran Williams that came back as the running back last week. Then you start to dice up and you start to get through those holes.
Oh, and that's a good team. Like they're
They
6
are.
and 6, but that they're veteran over there. They have a good front.
I mean,
don't have a good secondary.
shout out to our
I
offensive
thought
line.
Flacco played fine.
Right. Shout out to our offensive line. I think Aaron Donald was kind of a non-factor.
Yeah,
He really was kind of
one big play.
Right. He really was kind of a non-factor the whole game. You know, even with all our injuries out there. So
now, do you keep Joe Flacco as a starter the rest of the season?
we're going to get into that too. We'll get into that. So what? Browns playoff picture leading into Sunday against Jacksonville. You got the graphic on that.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw this out there too. So the Browns also, and Ryan, you brought this up to me earlier today. The Browns are now 5-1 at home.
Yep.
The problem we're having is on the road.
Yeah, the defense does not show up on the road.
Yes, it's not. Yep, and actually, you probably with that Indy game, you might have had another loss.
Yeah, but the defense let up a bunch of points, but they also got a bunch of turnovers.
They did.
They
which
kind of
don't normally happen.
They kind of won that game, even though they gave up a bunch of points, but they still didn't play well.
And I also want to make the point with the Steelers too. I think the Steelers' true colors are showing. This is the second game in a row at home that they've lost
to a 2-10
to
team.
a 2-10 Patriots team. No offense.
Well, and the Cardinals.
And the Cardinals.
2-10.
I mean, we're talking about two teams that are being the top
Yeah,
five of the
but
draft.
you're underestimating Mike Tomlin. He has taken
Or are we
shit
overestimating
teams.
Tomlin's abilities?
He's taken shit teams to the playoffs. Now, granted, they get bounced in the first game, but he's been able to take shit teams to the playoffs.
Okay. That's what goes back to what I was asking you, though. Is Tomlin overrated?
Those players are not happy. They're fighting in the locker room. It's been that way.
Pickens is going to be a problem. I can already read his body language, and he wants to get on camera. I could see it last night. He's like AJ Brown, like incarnate, or not AJ Brown. Antonio Brown. I mean, he's over there just the drama.
But there's
pouring
stuff
out of it.
There's stuff that's happening.
Give me the fucking ball.
That hasn't happened.
The Keyshawn Johnson, get me the fucking ball guy. You can just see it.
But it's not just
but
him.
Keyshawn would catch it.
Right. I'm just waiting for a fucking Gatorade jug to hit Tom on the back of the head.
Well, I think it's almost similar to New England. You don't have an offensive coach.
Right.
If you had an offensive coach,
but you're saying O'Brien ain't it. What's the relationship with?
I hesitate because when they signed him, I thought, okay, he coached Mac at Alabama. He knows what Mac likes to run.
Right.
I mean, Mac likes a good running game, and when he does throw the ball, he is successful in the hurry up. So why the hell is New England constantly waiting till middle of the fourth quarter when you're down by 2 touchdowns before you start running the hurry up and letting him just sling it everywhere, and then everybody's catching it? Why are you waiting so long? So I think Bill O'Brien is the problem.
Okay.
In New England. Now, some of it is on Mac.
Is there anything?
Because I know Orlovsky.
Is there a problem with Vrabel? Is there a problem with Vrabel and Bill O'Brien? Would there be a problem there? Let's say they retain Bill O'Brien, but they bring Vrabel in.
No, I think Vrabel's going to say, "This is what you're going to do.
Well, I think
this is what we're going to call."
Vrabel probably has his own guy.
That's the thing there. Are you going to have your own guy?
Well, Bob Kraft's going to have a lot to say on who stays and who goes.
I would think so.
Because half of that staff are former players.
But then you're also going to have to actually hire a GM that's in charge, right? Because Belichick's gone.
On the payroll, Jonathan Kraft is the GM.
I know. Yeah, so's the Joneses. Okay, but we all know it's old man, the Crypt Keeper. And he's on his fucking Monday morning radio show every Monday talking about this and that and that and this. We'll talk some Cowboys. Now, there's a big shit.
Cowboys are winning this weekend.
Okay, I'm going to go against you on that.
No, they're winning.
Who are they playing?
Because San Francisco showed you how to beat Jalen Hurts.
Okay, all right.
Have the best defense or best talent in the league. Chase Young, Nick Bosa. I mean, Jesus, Fred Warner.
Right.
They have all pros at every position.
Well, look at it this way: the NFC Championship last year, Hurts didn't throw for more than 130 yards. Didn't throw for any touchdowns. He rushed for one.
What was his rushing total?
I think
We'd have to look that up.
I'd have to look that up. I know he rushed for one touchdown.
That makes it
but
different.
He didn't throw for any.
Right.
It's like Shanahan's defense knew how to contain him.
Well, is it Shanahan's defense or is it their defensive coordinator?
But they've gone through defensive coordinators because they go out and get head coaching jobs and they end up getting fired.
True,
but
they do.
I just think that since they added that defense should be the best in the league.
I don't know how many Pro Bowlers are coming off that defense.
All of them.
There's a lot.
When you're paying your quarterback $800,000 a year, you can spend money fucking everywhere.
Well, and that's kind of the formula for the recent NFL, though, too. I mean, you go get your quarterback on a rookie deal, and yeah. Well, or you have Tom Brady that's going to take less money. So, whatever. All right. I know we've had that graphic up there for a while. What's it going to take for the Browns to make the playoffs?
I think they don't have to win this weekend, but it would be a great AFC win. And, if you look at Baltimore's schedule.
I was going to bring that up, too.
It's pretty rough. They got Kansas City, right? They got San Francisco.
They got Houston this weekend.
Houston. They don't have an easy road to hoe.
No, they got Houston, Baltimore, and I'm not going to say, and this, Josh, this is just us wanting to win the division. Okay, the Browns are 2 games back right now. Baltimore on a bye last week.
What you need is an act of God.
Right.
Just need the defense to show up.
Well,
I mean, hell, we got the Bears. We got the who else we got? We got Jacksonville, Chicago, Jets.
And then you
score 13, you're winning that
you
game.
end the year with the Bengals, right?
Yeah, and we always beat them.
Go ahead.
I'll take my union break. why you guys talk about the clowns?
So what's it going to take for the playoff? Yeah, you got Baltimore. There's going to that was the point I was going to make. You have Baltimore starting a huge stretch of tough games beginning of the Sunday. So you have Houston. You have then they have to play the 49ers, the Dolphins, Jacksonville, who we're playing this Sunday, probably with a much mended Sunshine going with them. Well, depending on how this Sunday's game goes, and you're going to end the year with the Steelers,
right? And they still haven't said if he's going to play, but I would think he's going to play this week.
I know he was. You said he was practicing yesterday, and I saw the report too.
So that with the new 17-game schedule, you have 9 games at home this year. We had 8 last year, 9 this year.
Right.
You're 5-1 right now at home. The one game was, everybody thought Deshaun was going to play. Couldn't lift his fucking arm over his shoulder. We had to put DTR in there. It was a mess.
Right.
Our remaining home games are Jacksonville, Chicago, and the Jets. If you win those 3 games, you're in.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think the Browns have to at least win 3 of the next 5.
To be safe. Maybe you get in, because the one big thing you have is the tiebreaker with Indianapolis. If one of these wins is against Houston on the road, you're in.
Yeah.
You're in. Because I don't see I think Pittsburgh's on the downslide.
They are.
I don't see them finishing better than 8-9.
Well, and regardless, they just had 2 back-to-back home games.
And lost to shitty teams.
They lost to shitty teams. So
we've lost 2 games in a row,
sure
but we've lost to 2 decent fucking teams.
And I'm sure they have a couple. I don't know Pittsburgh's schedule, but I'm sure that they have a couple. You should pull that up. See what Pittsburgh's schedule is the rest of the way. But I would assume that they have some away games coming
at the
up.
Colts, home against the Bengals, which is going to be a tougher game than we thought. Away against the Seattle, and away against Baltimore.
Okay.
So maybe they steal a game against the Colts, but they're playing well. I mean, they're 7-5.
Right. So the Browns, though, are just they're really kind of in the driver's seat at this point. You also have Jacksonville, which we're going to play this Sunday, but we also have to play Houston. And going back to the last 2 games, I want to bring this up too. When you saw the schedule come out at the beginning of the year, you're like, okay, we got Denver, we got the Rams. We probably are going to win both those games. We're not going to get swept. At the worst, we're going to be 1-1. Okay, going off of what the Rams did last year, especially how the Broncos were earlier in the season.
Yeah.
So, but now we lost both of those games. Come home, you're getting kind of a beat-up Sunshine against the Bengals earlier in the week. CJ beat hard. I remember that dumb fuck when he was on Iowa. Okay, I call him beat hard.
Oh, dude, if he starts, there's no way we can lose that game.
Here's the other thing that I think.
If you play DTR, you lose.
Do you think so?
He beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's Pittsburgh.
I know.
Pittsburgh only shows up
That's
half.
an Iowa quarterback.
What?
He would have to score more points in one game than he did the entire time he started at Iowa.
Well, great point.
Which
Great
is
point.
13.
Right. I guess the other thing that makes me feel good about this game Sunday is Trevor Lawrence is beat up a little bit. He's been nursing an ankle injury. He actually, got hurt even more, but he was kind of nursing an injury even against over in London, when they played the Bills over there. He got injured on there. I think he's kind of been he's been nursing that injury all year. The Bengals took advantage of it. But I think if Lawrence goes, the one thing we also have going for us is the fact that Lawrence can get it. He can escape. And he can beat you. He can get those first downs and
right,
stuff.
but the weather's going to be cooler.
Yes.
Which is going to wreak havoc on an injured ankle.
It should. But what I'm saying is that if you're able to contain him
What's going to hurt him is no Christian Kirk.
Yeah, and I was going to get into that too. Christian Kirk out on IR, but you still got the gambler out there, the wide receiver, coming back this year. Near and dear to my heart. Like that guy.
I like him too.
You got Evan Ingram. Yep, you got Evan Ingram. Zay Jones. I mean, he's definitely still a threat with them, but it still
he's a threat of taking Ryan Fitzpatrick's record of how many teams I play for.
No, that's Baker Mayfield.
No, they're happy in Tampa with Baker.
No, they're not.
The news that came out last week when Baker was basically
they're happy when they beat the Bears.
Throwing, yeah. Well, and they've been on quite the skid since starting the season, like 3-1.
Yeah, when you play the three worst defenses in the first 4 weeks of the season, it's pretty easy to look good.
It is. And the news that we talked about last podcast, where he was basically calling out all his teammates.
Very similar
basically
to the
saying
2021 year.
They're not fired up enough.
Yeah.
That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
Not
and it's not a good look to stay in Tampa either. Because then you're starting to throw shit on Todd Bowles. I mean, Todd
Bowles was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was
which you got to put on Brady because Brady wasn't going to stay in Tampa if Bruce Arians was still the head coach.
And that was pretty much Bruce Arians saying that that was his heir apparent was Todd Bowles. And it doesn't really matter who the fuck your head coach is when you got Tom Brady.
But you fire Byron Leftwich. And that's supposed to fix everything.
Well, I thought Leftwich, the word in the offseason...
He was fired. The entire offensive staff was fired.
But the word in the offseason was Leftwich was right up there to get a maybe head coaching position. What happened with that?
He interviewed with Jacksonville, but that was because of the Rooney Rule.
Oh, okay.
And he played there.
Yeah, and he played there.
Right, so it's like an Eric Berry
I like Leftwich. I think he's
I don't have a problem with Leftwich.
I liked him when he was a player.
Yeah, I mean, everybody deserves a shot. I mean, take your shot. McDaniels has had 2. Fucked them both up.
Hey, Josh McDaniels in his rookie year as a head coach.
What are you, my sponsor?
Went to the playoffs with Tim Tebow.
At 8-8, started out 6-0.
With Tim Tebow and beat Pittsburgh in overtime.
He did.
Now, then, granted, the next week they went to New England and lost 49-0.
Right. Right. True.
Tom Brady showed him who the offensive daddy was.
Oh yeah. Well, and their defense was awesome as well. That was what 2000? Was it 2011? Or no, it wasn't 11. Or it was 11.
With 10, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Wasn't it the year they lost to the Giants? The second time. I'm not trying to be an asshole.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I am. 2007 and 2011, wasn't it?
07 because that was the perfect season.
Yeah.
It was
11.
That was great.
It was 11, yeah.
10 or I think it was 11.
All hail John Shula and the 72 Dolphins.
Oh, please, no, don't get me started on that bullshit. No, there was no. The 72 Dolphins would not be able to handle the 07 Patriots.
I agree with that.
There was not 32 teams. 2, they didn't play a 16-week game.
That's true. 14, wasn't it? Wasn't it 14?
It was 14.
14 because they didn't go to 17 until they didn't go to 16 until Tampa Bay, right? They came around in 77, 8, 77, 78.
Was 16-game season?
Yeah.
That was 19.
I thought it was like 77, 78, right around in there.
Yeah, it was 19. I think it was 76.
Oh, okay.
I think it was 76.
Before that. All right.
So
no, I agree
you
with
can talk
you.
about the 17-0 Dolphins.
I agree with you, but we're never ever going to know that. Well, we're never going to know that. We have a theory.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Greasy back there wearing Coke bottles and glasses.
All right, what did you just say? Sorry.
Is anybody else in the chat?
Well, people are putting a chat on my personal page. I can't see it on freaking Restream. Kirk had a testicular torsion. Dude got his ball. What?
Dude got his balls twisted.
Oh, Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
The old dick twist. Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
All right.
Well, I was just gonna say.
Go ahead.
Well, you guys were talking about the Dolphins or whatever, right?
Yeah. The 72 Dolphins, the greatest team.
Were you pissed off about them?
About
what'd you say about the Dolphins?
the 72 Dolphins would not be able to handle the 07 Patriots.
Well, shit, no. They wouldn't be able to handle the fucking 23 Patriots.
I don't know if the 72 Dolphins would be able to handle the 1982 Raiders.
Well,
they're
bigger, stronger, and faster
What do you mean
now.
the 23 Patriots?
They're all bigger, stronger, and faster now. There's no fucking way.
No, I think your Patriots
Damn,
team
Ashland
this week-
University could beat the 23 Patriots.
I don't think so.
No, they give them a run for the money.
No,
maybe the 17 Browns.
Yeah, not with like not with how these athletes and shit are. And this goes back to my argument with this guy back here. I mean, this guy's playing against, like trash men and plumbers. I mean, these are all legitimate
Magic Johnson,
big time athletes. No, there were a hand. I watched those.
Got
Don't even
better
get me
every
started.
decade.
Carl
about
Malone,
that
John
shit.
Stockton.
Beat him. You're right. He beat him. You're right.
Even beat my boy Chuckles.
Sir Charles.
I love Charles.
I do love him. I do love him. We're getting off course.
Turbo.
All right. So we covered the guy like Denzel Ward coming back. I think that's huge this week.
Yeah.
Browns back. I think they're gonna get back on defense. 5-1 at home this season.
Oh, and one little. Can I add that little?
Yeah,
tidbit?
go ahead. Yes,
So,
please.
This is a sad stat, but it's a stat. Right now, the Browns are leading the AFC North in home victories.
Fantastic.
The first time this late in the season. Well, I can't say that. Well, I can say that because the only other time that they even tied, which was in 2007, they went 7-1 at home. The one loss was to the Steelers, and the Steelers beat them at home opener because Charlie Fry was trash.
I barely remember Charlie Fry.
Oh, I remember it. I fucking remember
There's
it.
been so many quarterbacks I can't remember.
Because it was Brady Quinn was after Fry, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
07.
Yeah. I do like Quinn on Fox Sports Radio, by the way.
I like Quinn as a football player.
Yeah.
Oh, he got fucked. They you talk about nobody to throw to.
I mean, that's going to be the
Muhammad
problem.
Massaquoi.
I remember him.
Fucking Greg Little.
Did he go to Atlanta, Massaquoi?
No, I think James Harrison murdered him.
Probably. With his gigantic arms that look like people's legs.
Yeah. Yeah. All the steroids, from not having the test during the draft.
Yeah. Keys to the game for the Browns' victory. What is it?
Well, defensive line needs to show up. Whoever's playing quarterback for Jacksonville, don't get gashed in the run game.
Yeah.
You got to get 3 sacks. Okay, they're
going back to my previous point,
and it's probably gonna be shitty weather. So if you don't get 3 sacks because
the forecast calling for shit.
Yeah.
If they're just running the football,
They call it for rain Sunday.
Cold and rain. Yeah.
Cold and
Okay,
rain.
all right.
But they'll probably still be 25, 30 pass attempts. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. Offensively, Joe's going to be fine. He played in Baltimore for fucking 12 years or
And
10 years.
Going back to
He's
that.
starting. DTR is not even out of concussion protocol yet.
I know what they're saying.
They're
but,
doing gamesmanship right now.
Okay. Just like Jackson, because that report came immediately after Jacksonville just said the same thing.
The only thing DTR has done this week is thrown to practice squad players. Why would you throw a rookie out there when you have Flacco? He's got another week under his belt. The one thing that does suck is Amari might be out. He's under concussion protocol
yes.
as well.
We know he's out.
But
not out, but he's not ruled in yet.
Yeah. Good thing is Elijah Moore and him seem to have a pretty good rapport. And you got to hope Njoku stops dropping balls.
Well, look, when you throw it to him 80 times a game, he's going to drop some balls.
Yeah.
Well, he's
dropped a lot.
Hey, Jarvis Landry's still out there without a job.
You brought that up to me. I know.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they got plenty on the outside. They need to run the ball better.
I talked to Josh about. I think I talked to Josh about this morning too. Was where's Tillman? I mean, because Tillman was getting targets, but Flacco last week though, I think Tillman could be a dude.
I do too.
I mean, I know he's a rookie. The other thing I wasn't really, couldn't really.
Now did Flacco throw the ball to him in practice? Flacco's an old type of quarterback where I'm going to throw the guys I threw to in practice
because you want to get rapport with those dudes.
I mean, he hit Jerome Ford on that fucking wing wheel route out of the backfield. That was beautiful.
Watson had a similar play to that against the Titans earlier in the season.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see what I don't understand with Cedric Tillman he was supposed to be the guy that was going to replace DPJ according to why Andrew Berry drafted him.
They weren't going to be able to pay him in the offseason, so they had to get something back.
Yeah, I agree with that. And going back to DPJ, he was going to be a free agent after the season. So
you could pay him.
Yeah,
you could find a way to pay him.
Yeah,
he was going to ask for
you pay him by trading Deshaun Watson somewhere else.
He wasn't getting targets though.
And then play who a quarterback.
DPJ wasn't getting targets.
You draft one.
Yeah, we've had so much.
We've
luck
had
with
him
that.
no. So
no. You keep Flacco. You draft a quarterback. Don't take a first rounder because of them guys. I ain't sold on any of them.
This year,
okay. Yeah, I'm not sold on any of them.
And
we have 3 years
a
left.
Great quarterback class.
Deshaun's
right?
freaking contract. He's going to be the quarterback here for the next 10 years. That's just the way it is.
Well, that's why the NFL should tell Jimmy Haslam sell that team because you fucked up. Paying him that much money and guaranteeing he hasn't played one full season yet.
I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to probably die on this, but the Browns, just because of their last recent history, if you want to see recent history, the last 20 years, 23 years, 24 years, in the quarterback carousel, they've gone. The Cleveland Browns, Andrew Berry had to make a move. Right. They had to make a move. And that's what it really comes down to.
They tried to get Russell Wilson. He didn't want to come. They tried to get Aaron Rodgers. He didn't want to go to Cleveland. And they tried to get there was another quarterback. So at that point, it's either one, you give a shit ton of money to Baker Mayfield, which would be horrible.
I disagree.
Really?
I do.
He's got more weapons in Tampa and plays in better weather than he ever did in Cleveland, and he's 5-7.
But he doesn't have an offensive coach
in the worst division in football. Plays shitty when he plays good teams every time. You can see that when he played Philadelphia, and Philadelphia got lit up by San Francisco. He crumbles under pressure. Deshaun came back and beat Baltimore, who has the best defense in the league, top 2, 3 best defense in the league.
That's one game.
He's 5-1 as a starter. He's made absolute dime passes down the field that I've never seen a Cleveland Browns quarterback make since Bernie Kosar. He's mobile.
When was this? I don't remember.
Did you watch the Tennessee game? Did you watch the Arizona game? Did you watch the Baltimore game?
We're talking about Arizona and Tennessee.
Did Arizona not just beat fucking Pittsburgh?
It's Pittsburgh.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true, but
who beat us? It's the NFL. Good throws are good throws. Who gives a fuck who's it against? That is the worst argument I've ever heard. When Amari Cooper's 50 yards down the field and there's 2 defenders right beside him and it's right there in the bucket. Name one other quarterback that's made that throw in a Cleveland Browns uniform in the last fucking 30 years. Derek Anderson maybe once.
10-6 Derek Anderson.
I mean, he's got
the
third highest quarterback rating in NFL history.
Backup quarterback Mark Rippon.
That's why you wouldn't got him, because he had the third best quarterback rating in NFL history. He won 2
I give
division
you, Watson
titles.
was the best available who was going to be willing to come.
They were not going to be able to tank and get a good quarterback because if you did that, you're going to lose Myles Garrett. You're going to lose Denzel
haven't gotten your
Ward.
money out of him.
No,
not yet.
Not yet.
Are you ever going to? Because
we don't know that.
We're 7-5.
This is the problem with players that you guarantee that much money to. They seem to always get hurt.
Okay. Well,
am I wrong?
Joe Burrow. Are they fucking worried about that money?
No, because Burrow's not out there pretending to be hurt.
Oh, God, we're not going down this route.
No, I'm not saying Deshaun didn't screw his arm up.
Right.
I'm talking about, I know he did. I'm talking about previous injuries. Tom Brady had a high ankle sprain and played in the Super Bowl. Now, granted, he lost, but he wasn't sitting on the bench.
So what other injury are we talking about?
He don't play half the time, Watson.
Right.
Well, he played every eligible game they could last year, and he fucked his shoulder up in the Tennessee game. Some guy came in and fucking leveled his shoulder.
Yeah.
If you can't throw the ball, how are you supposed to play quarterback?
So then why are you sticking him back out there knowing he's hurt?
Because he wanted to go out there. He's your franchise quarterback.
Baker Mayfield wanted to go out last year, and everyone.
It wasn't his throwing shoulder.
It doesn't matter. If you're hurt, you're hurt. Don't let these guys tell you.
It does matter when it's your throwing shoulder.
I'm talking about Baker's injury.
Yeah, it was his non-throwing shoulder, and he made that his excuse. Deshaun brought us back and won against Baltimore with a broken fucking shoulder and a high ankle sprain. To me, that's as tough as you get.
Yeah.
And he wanted to juice up his shoulder for the rest of the year and play, but they said if you keep doing that, you could completely damage it and never be able to fucking play again.
My thing with
these narratives that are out there is just I'm
my
tired
thing
of
with Deshaun. What I was really hoping that we were going to see was an entire season.
Yeah,
then you can pass
injuries
judgment.
happen.
If you pass judgment with an entire season, then pass judgment, and that's fine. That's fine. Whether he's playing possum,
I'm not saying he ain't going to be great. You're not going to get the Deshaun of Houston when they went on that deep playoff run.
And you may not, but we don't need that with this.
He's
defense.
only 28 years old.
But
quarterbacks don't really hit their prime till they're in their 30s.
Yeah, but these quarterbacks that get hit all the time, like
that's one thing he has to work on is
like
not
Sam
taking
Howell?
those hits. Yeah,
like Sam Howell
and Lamar. Lamar ain't gonna last. Lamar's not gonna last much longer.
I've been saying that for years.
That dude gets hit way too much because he won't stop running.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't get hurt when he's running the football. He gets hurt in the pocket because when you're standing there, he doesn't take the hits. Deshaun he's a physical runner, and that's his downfall.
Correct.
He
I
puts
agree
his shoulder
with
down,
that. I agree with that.
And that's the one thing they're at to coach out of him. Like, hey man, we need you the next play. Don't worry. Don't worry about
get down.
If it's 4th and 1, you need it to win a game. That's one thing. But
right.
That was what got him in that Tennessee game because we're up, we're going down to score, and what they need to stop doing is calling those QB powers. But it was a QB power. You go off to the left side. Safety came in, hit him right in the fucking throwing shoulder.
Right.
So
are you saying that they need to change up the offense dynamic a little bit and stop calling the draw plays, whatever?
Yeah.
Or just use Deshaun
Watson
you're
going to do that, you need to tell him
extend plays.
You need to tell him if you're going to run it between the tackles, go down. First contact, go down.
Right.
Outside, if you're going against corner or something, and you could see the guy coming, that's one thing. It's just got to be that was just a shit luck play. He got stood up, and the dude came in and fucking put his helmet and shoulder pad right into his shoulder.
All right.
And those quarterbacks don't wear nothing as protection anymore because it just helps you throw the football. It's just fucking shit luck, just like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Just like, fucking 3 plays into the season, Aaron Rodgers.
Part of I think a lot of this, Josh, and a lot of this too, and Ryan, both, when we're talking about paying these quarterbacks what we're paying them, Joe Burrow's been hurt. I mean, he's been hurt.
This is the second time.
But they
injury.
just gave him the fucking bank bag.
Yeah.
Now, he's not getting all this pushback because the Bengals made it to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If Watson were to make it to a Super Bowl, is he still going to get that kind of shit? Or is he just getting the shit because of his alleged shit that happened?
Getting a happy ending.
No, he's getting the shit because he hasn't. This was supposed to be Cleveland's year where they won the division.
I agree with that.
And
I'm
not going to say you're not going to make the playoffs because it's a good possibility Cleveland does. You're not going to win the division. You're not going to catch Baltimore.
What I'm saying is,
It's
is the media fueling?
But
that,
just
though?
tell me this: if Deshaun Watson was still healthy,
100% healthy, not 80%. 100% healthy.
they would be favorites.
If they had Cooper.
Well, I'm just saying.
If they
All right,
didn't,
so
if they
after
didn't,
that Baltimore game,
if they didn't,
after that
if
Baltimore
they didn't
game.
have, if they didn't have Cooper, I'd say yes, they still have a shot to give Baltimore a run for the money.
Yeah.
Because Pittsburgh's Pittsburgh.
Right.
We all know that. Cincinnati's done.
Yeah.
Although they, Browning looked like the second coming.
Well, they're going to be
last week.
They're going to be
against
nippy.
Jacksonville.
They're going to be nippy.
Although Lawrence went out, and you had CJ Beathard, and it was quarterback, and then all of a sudden he had problems with his fucking vision. You read about that, didn't you? He's out there seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold.
Well, I mean, just if Deshaun was still in there, the Browns would not even be. They'd be one, a favorite for the AFC North. After that Baltimore game, we were, and two, you'd be one of the 3 or 4 teams you're talking about as Super Bowl contenders. Right now,
contender for AFC champion.
I mean, how we beat San Francisco?
AFC champion. You beat San Francisco, who was injured.
We were injured. We had fucking PJ Walker playing.
Right.
We didn't have Nick Chubb. We didn't have our.
I will say during that stretch of PJ Walker, the simple fact that
was the defense.
Yes, it was a defense, and I'm giving you that. But the simple fact that you were able to go at 2-2 during that stretch.
Well, technically 2-1.
2-1, okay.
Well,
and he was turning the ball over 3 times a game.
Every time.
I mean, the Browns were leading the league in turnovers or plus minus differential
and turnovers. I think.
Yeah,
just in general.
I mean, All right, let's get on to it. I'm not going to pass judgment on Watson. I want a full year. Am I ever going to see that year? I don't know. Right now, I mean, it's 2023, 24.
No, I say if you don't see it next year, then
it sucks.
You gave way too much money to this guy.
Right.
You pay your quarterback.
Now, it's one thing if he takes a nasty hit to the knee and tears something.
Right.
But I'm saying you don't get because, I dislocated my thumb. I separated my shoulder. I mean, if you don't get, missing a game or two, that's one thing. You miss a lot of games.
Well, and I want to go back to the whole media thing just for a moment. And this is gonna, how should I say it? The pictures of where you have Joe Burrow on the sidelines and you got Deshaun Watson in the press box doing rehab in LA, and the team says, no, we don't want you here because of your injury. But then you have the split screen showing Burrow over there with the mic on, helping out their offense. Isn't that the media just kind of getting in the whole middle of the whole thing and just throwing shit out there?
Well, their job is to.
Is that a media talking point this week?
No, I mean, I've just seen the pictures.
That's social media.
That's social media.
Anybody that can, if they get anything that they can get pissed off about Deshaun Watson, that's what they do.
And is it because Joe Burrow, although has had many injuries, he's led him to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson was one half away from going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
If not for Bill O'Brien.
Oh, yeah. Well, he ruined that team.
Butt chin.
Traded away DeAndre. He traded away his left tackle. And
traded the farm away to get David Johnson, who
peanuts.
Can't even play half a season.
Right.
But he was that stud guy the year before, right? Then all of a sudden he wants him.
Arizona, right?
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to. I want to talk about the college football playoff.
Jesus
A little bit.
Here we go.
I mean, it's still football. We haven't gotten off on basketball yet. Beer me. What are you, my sponsor?
Need to get that on a shirt.
Sponsored by Busch Light, although we're not getting paid by them. Busch. Get Josh one too.
No.
All right.
I'm
College football
pissing it
playoff.
off.
And we're going to get into the whole thing. Did the committee get it right?
Hell no.
We're leaving out FSU, Florida State,
Yeah.
as the conference champion. We're putting in the SEC champion coming all the way from 8, beating the number one team with their soft schedule. Okay. Did the committee get?
Hey,
I'm throwing it out there. It's my opinion.
Okay, the head coach doesn't make the schedule.
No, that's true.
but hey,
No, I'm
I
talking
mean,
about
they agree on
I'm
these
talking about
games.
Georgia. I'm talking about Georgia having a
Right.
soft schedule.
Well, yeah, but that's not the team nor the coach's fault.
Okay.
Them games are scheduled
Well,
4 years out.
What was the SEC final? 28-24, right? And Alabama's coming all the way from 8, and they're getting into.
You're
the
saying
top four.
Alabama shouldn't have went from 8 to 4?
I think that the playoff committee really it should be the
not
top
over
four,
FSU.
yeah, the top four best teams should be in. The top 4. The problem with that is then you're going back to like a BCS type
I have no problem
situation.
Texas being 3.
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I don't.
If
I
Alabama
don't.
was getting in, they should have went over
And
Texas because they lost.
the thing I was saying is
And
you
Alabama
can't
should have lost
leave-
to fucking, what was that, South Carolina or
No,
Auburn?
Auburn and Iron Bowl, right?
That was such horseshit.
but you can't leave FSU in the top 4 after an injury, go to the media and say we don't take injuries into consideration. Now all of a sudden
Right.
you do.
Right. True.
Right.
I agree with that.
Hell, we won
I
a
agree with
national
that.
title with our third string quarterback.
Now,
Not to mention the backup quarterback who played well.
right.
And,
I'm gonna give,
you kept FSU
I
in
am
the top
going to give
4,
you a little bit of pushback.
was going to be ready for the bowl game.
I'm going to give you a
whole month
little.
to prepare.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to give you some pushback on that, though. Okay? And this isn't coming from homerism. 2015, Ohio State. They beat Wisconsin 59-0. And I think if FSU would have put the hammer down on Louisville in the ACC championship,
They still beat them. That's a top
they
15
did
team.
beat them. I agree, but I'm saying if that game would have been like 30-16, we might be having a different conversation.
All right, and there's another stat. The ACC
So
against
are
the
you
SEC.
saying Michigan didn't have a close win?
I'm
Tight
not even
win.
talking about Michigan.
Well, I'm just saying you got to look at all the teams.
Right.
So does Michigan deserve to be number 1 or number 2?
It's not like that. Florida State's been like the offensive powerhouse, right? I mean, that
I
They've been pretty balanced.
actually love the fact that Michigan's won.
Yeah, because they're going to get their asses kicked by Nick Saban.
Okay. Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Saban's out to prove a point. All these people, when they lost early in the year to Texas, everybody calling for his job, saying he's too old and you're done.
Right.
And then run a rough shot over everybody.
I mean, Michigan definitely probably would have preferred to play Florida State in 4, right?
or Washington.
Without Jordan Travis. Or Washington. Or Texas, right?
I just
no.
if
I
you're in a
wouldn't
power
play,
five,
I wouldn't play Texas.
Regardless of anything that's going on right now, who are you pulling for in the top 4?
Alabama.
Really?
I love me some Nick Saban.
I'm pulling for Texas, man.
I'd say Texas.
Yeah.
See who's them or Washington.
Manning.
We'll get into the transfer portal a little bit.
It's either them or Washington. I mean, I just watched the number 1 on Eddie.
They're
And they
no.
maybe.
I
maybe
don't,
the
well,
60s
at
or
least not in the college football playoff.
Well, not playoff. Playoff. But
Playoff? Yeah.
I just mean like all time.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
If you're 13-0 and they beat a ranked opponent in your conference title game,
I
and
understand
the
argument.
the ACC is 6-4 against the SEC this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are still living in 2013. The SEC isn't like top to bottom that fucking conference anymore.
Well, and I think it's also the simple fact, everybody's talking about it too. It's the money, right? You don't want to lose.
But tell me,
You
Florida
don't want to
State's
lose
not
the
going to
entire
give you
South. I mean, I'm not talking Southeast. I'm talking the entire
the
South.
SEC. I mean, I would have kept Georgia in over Florida or Georgia in over Alabama.
Even though they lost Alabama?
Yeah,
Really? Wow.
because they were 1 and they were 8. and they shouldn't have beat Auburn. Talk about.
My problem is keeping. I got two problems. I have a problem with Alabama jumping all the way from 8 to 4. Okay, over a very narrow victory over Georgia, who was 1. And I think that's how the committee they rationalize it. Is that it was 4 points over the number 1 seed going into
we
that
lost
week.
to the number 1 team in the country by 6 points on the road.
Yeah.
And we beat Penn State. We beat Notre Dame. I get they're 12-1. We're not 11-1.
You didn't beat Notre Dame. I know I'm just coming into the conversation. You didn't beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame gave you that game.
Well, Auburn
With Sam
fucking
Hartman?
should have beat Alabama. There was 4th and 25, and they threw a prayer and fucking won it.
Right.
They gave them that game.
Right.
They should
Yeah,
be
but
nowhere in there.
those two play every year, and they always play each other tough.
Didn't New Mexico State from Conference USA just put like a fucking like a 30-3 burger on them? Auburn, the same team that basically in the Iron Bowl took them down the last play of the game.
There's
rough.
There's
well,
an SEC bias.
Absolutely.
The
but
ACC is 6-4 against the SEC.
it's the money though, because you're not
Tell
going to
me
leave
Florida
that.
State is not giving you. That's a all-time program.
Yeah.
Maybe hasn't been the last 8 years, but hell, didn't they win a national title?
And I feel bad. I agree with you on the athletes. I agree with Jordan Ward on the athletes. And the fact that, you got all these guys that went ahead and maybe didn't jump to the NFL, but they decided to go ahead and stick around.
Right.
And now they're not going to get to play for a national title. Or at least in the college football playoff, in the top 4. I feel bad for the athletes.
Well, I already told you personally. I think Ohio State is better than Texas.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and
I know Texas has the win.
Is Ohio State better than Alabama?
No.
Okay. So by that measurement, though, you think Alabama needs to be in the top 4, right?
It depends on how you're looking at it.
I don't think.
I mean,
When we lost to Michigan, I knew we were out.
There's okay, they call it the Power 5.
Right.
5 power conferences.
Right.
You're only picking
Which
4
is like
teams.
4.5.
You're only picking 4 teams. Somebody's being left out.
Right. And it's been that way. It's
Well,
been
and,
that way.
and to me, it's like if you're gonna
The
leave
Pac-10's been left out.
well, and if you're
Or
if
Pac-12.
you're gonna leave anybody out, why wouldn't it be Washington? Who the fuck have they played?
Right.
Oregon twice.
Oregon twice and beat them.
Who's in the Pac-10?
Oregon State, who was ranked at the time.
Yeah.
Well,
With DJ
I'm just
Uiagalelei.
saying, Florida State just beat Louisville, who's ranked. They just, they beat everybody on their schedule.
I'm not saying Florida State shouldn't be. They should be.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about leaving somebody
Florida
out,
State also beat LSU.
and Washington's been to the
This
dance.
year. That was
and
their
they
out of
beat-
Yeah, but
conference
Brian
game.
Kelly ain't the answer at LSU.
Well, that's fine. Whatever opinion you want there. But they did beat LSU.
an SEC school who's ranked,
Their quarterback could be in the Heisman room come this weekend.
and they beat the hell out of him.
So
No, if they don't give the Heisman to Harrison, that shit's just rigged.
They won't.
I know they won't.
it's going to go to...
Who was the last non-quarterback got it?
It's running back. Mark Ingram.
Was it Ingram?
Ingram.
Was he the first one, the last one before?
Because Derrick Henry didn't get it, right?
No, Devin Smith from Alabama. And Devin Smith, he's now on the Eagles.
Wide receiver. Him.
Oh yeah.
Wide receiver. That's right.
So I mean, they'll give it to wide receivers.
But I think he could have won it had they beat Michigan and played the Big Ten title game. You had another week of stats to build up. And they would have blew, fucking...
Iowa
they would have
out.
blew out Iowa out. Well, Iowa still,
they had a tough defense.
Yeah. Just no offense. Jesus.
Oh, my God. It's so bad. I was watching some of that game, too. And it's like, oh, my God. Oh.
And they're always like 10-3. I'm like, dude, if you just... There's got to be some booster there that can just pay a fucking 4-star quarterback and a couple wide receivers to show up.
They got the Michigan. they got McNamara. Who McCarthy, he got hurt like I think week 3 or 5.
Oh, McNamara did?
Yeah, McNamara, for Michigan, he transferred over. So, and then the backup quarterback got hurt. Then you're starting a true freshman who looks like he's a fucking tight end. I mean, the guy's a fucking beast. Okay, so, but he's still a freshman. All right. So, but the Ferentz family, because they're the most retained head, he's the most tenured coach now in the Big Ten, right?
Yeah. Well, his son's the offensive coordinator, right? Or defensive coordinator?
Yeah, offensive coordinator. So, but what I'm saying is, regardless of this year, you've been putting up great defenses. Why haven't you got the offensive side of the ball right? Going back, CJ beat hard in 2015.
What was the?
I mean,
did they win the Big Ten one year back in 2006 or something?
Maybe.
I mean,
it seems like
at a school like
ago.
that. At a school like that, it's almost like Northwestern when they had their little run. I mean, Iowa's definitely a better football school, but winning 10 games,
right?
Being there,
and they're kind of tied in you, right?
Yeah. Good linebackers come out of there.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen. They do have some good offensive linemen. But
still better than my Cornhuskers.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to get into that, too.
Well, I thought when they were added to the Big Ten, that was actually going to be an addition.
Any problem with Michigan at 1 and Washington 2 going to the college football playoff? No? And then you got also, you're going to have Texas, Alabama. So you got Michigan playing Alabama.
Loss.
I agree.
Michigan can play Washington and they'll still lose. And here's why. You go back to Michigan's record when it comes to either the college football playoffs or just bowl games. They don't show up.
They're Notre Dame.
It's like they take the whole month and a half before the game and just sit at home.
Is Harbaugh, is he gone regardless of what happens?
He's done. Chicago is going to take him.
You think Chicago?
Huh?
Are you a Buckeye fan?
No, Cornhusker.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get into that. That's why I said just hold on.
No, he's going to Chicago. He's close.
Beer me.
He's close to the Hallis family.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We did talk about it.
I thought that, or Belichick does stay in New England.
I mean, great. I would love. Yeah, he would jump all over the Chargers. Justin Herbert.
And all that talent on defense. They got plenty of talent.
I'm actually making this argument, and I threw it out there last night on another page that I follow. But what is the more attractive team to go to? Is it the Chargers or the Bears with all the picks and all the money?
You're betting on yourself at that point.
Or you got the Chargers, and you have Derwin James, you got Joey Bosa, you got Khalil Mack, you got your quarterback, which is the most important piece.
But he wants Harrison.
Who?
Harbaugh. In the
you
draft.
think he does?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm also hearing
the very little bit he has talked about Harrison, he sings the kid's praises.
So let's say though that
now if he
have two coaching vacancies.
The best one on paper would be Chicago because you're gonna have 2 early picks.
Yeah,
you draft a quarterback you want, whether it's the one from Michigan that you've been coaching.
Well, and you could trade back to 2 and have the 2
I don't
and 3
think
pick.
He's taken
and take
J.J. McCarthy.
Even if he doesn't, he can still get Marvin Harrison.
Well, you could probably end up with either the Washington quarterback or what's his name?
Well, they're going to get Caleb Williams if he wants him, right?
If you get Caleb Williams,
and I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I'm not.
I mean, he might be.
He's got
on paper. He's probably the best quarterback coming out. That's if he comes out.
He's got the
there's rumors I heard on ESPN radio today. There's rumors that even though he's sitting out this bowl game, he wants to wait to see what happens at the end of the NFL season. Who's picking first? Mm-hmm. Where am I going to end up going? Is that somewhere I want to go, or do I just go ahead and go back and play, get $5 million to play?
Well, Marvin Harrison's talking about staying. They're literally talking about paying him $25 million to play college football.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
$25 fucking million to play college football. I would have took so many steroids in high school.
But the problem with Marvin Harrison now is you don't know who the quarterback's going to be. If it's going to be, and we're going to find out. I'm going to get into this OSU Missouri matchup, but we're going to find out who's going to be the quarterback.
OSU Missouri, they already came out with bowl.
Yes.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yep, they're playing in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
So Ohio State, I was actually going to save this.
And with no Mark McCord.
Kyle McCord.
You mean
Kyle
no
McCord.
Mark McCord?
Mark McCord.
Oh, Mark Wade.
Is Mark in the chat? We
Oh,
got
Mark Wade. Shout out to Mark Wade.
You fucker. So, you know what? Ryan and I have been on this the entire season. Even before the Notre Dame, and Wade called me the night, and he was so pumped about McCord and the comeback. I was going to save this for the Crying Jordan segment, but the other thing with McCord, there are rumors that Nebraska has already met with Kyle McCord and the OC at Nebraska.
Well, Matt Rule is going to be a better quarterback coach to him.
I'm not even talking about him. I'm talking about the offensive coordinator. And there was no Matt Rule that was in there. Matt Rule just came out this last week and it was talking about it's going to cost it. I saw the TikTok of him. It's going to cost $1 to $2 million to get the quarterback that you want to come to your program, let alone Nebraska that's in the middle of the country. And we're not talking about Nebraska, and I'm sorry. We're not talking about Nebraska in the 90s here.
No, I miss those days.
Yeah. The problem, and I've said this for a long time, is college football has the problem, and I give Tressel all the credit, not Urban Meyer. I give Tressel all the credit, is that
he built a program. You
had to build the program. You had to bring the program back because in college football, and this is before NIL money and all that, in college football, if you have a down program, you have to win to start getting recruits. Then you can start winning on a regular basis. And then Fickle had it for a year. Then Urban Meyer took over, went 7-0 against Michigan, won a national title. He just kind of continued what Tressel did, even though they were selling gold pants for fucking tattoos.
Yeah, okay. And had to restart because of that bullshit.
Yeah. And I don't want to leave the fact out, even though we've been hammering on this for a while now.
There's still an investigation.
There's investigations the NCAA has not, and I think that is another reason why Harbaugh's out. And it just came out yesterday that Michigan has already proposed Harbaugh a new contract with the stipulation in the contract that you're not allowed to pursue any NFL interests. He has yet to sign that contract.
I think he wants back, man.
I think he's coming back. We've been saying it all year.
Is the NFL... I mean, I'm not saying it's not stressful, but I would rather have an NFL head coaching job than be in college and having to deal with the recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, all that.
The NIL and transfer portal.
Harbaugh's made no bones that he wants to go back to the NFL.
Okay.
The only reason, and he's even said this, the only reason he left San Francisco, he didn't get along with York, the owner.
Okay.
He did not want Kaepernick to be the starter.
Fine with me.
He was forced.
Okay.
Now, granted, Alex Smith got hurt.
Right.
So you had to play Kaepernick. But when Alex Smith was healthy, he wanted Alex Smith. But York said, no, we're going to get rid of him in the offseason. So let him sit the bench and stay healthy so we can get...
He did. The defense, though.
That defense was
stout.
Defense
is phenomenal.
That defense that year was stout.
Not underplay. Kaepernick was balling that
year. He was. I mean, I'm not a Kaepernick.
I'm not either.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
But he was like, I could see the justification. Like the dude was playing really well.
Right.
Because you got Harbaugh didn't get fired.
Well, and
he quit.
They had the same offensive coordinator that fucking Lamar Jackson had for all those years. He ran the option. He did all that stuff, and it was kind of like a new thing in the NFL. Like they had a great running game. And Kaepernick did what he had to do in the passing game. He had the defense.
He had a couple big plays against Green Bay. I remember that. Like 2 years in a row, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, even the year after that, he played pretty well, but then it fucking tailed off after that, and then all the other shit happened.
Right. I don't think Harbaugh's there. Regardless, I think if Michigan wins, and they're favored right now. I looked up these odds today, which they should be. Being the number one. They're plus 170 in Vegas to win the national title. This is going to surprise you, though. No, maybe not. While Alabama's plus 190, okay? Texas is plus 350. Washington's plus 700. So they're double the third, whatever Vegas thinks has the best case.
And tell me that the committee.
So is Michigan, Alabama really the national title again? I mean, I hope not. I hope it's not like a TCU type situation last year with Georgia.
I think Texas is going to be there to play whoever wins that game, and either way, it's going to be. A good
So is
game.
Texas beating Washington in this semifinal? Okay,
I think so.
I'm on the fence on that one
I am too.
because
I'm pulling for Texas.
I agree with what Bill Belichick said. The worst opponent to play is the one you underestimate. And if you're going to underestimate
especially
Washington,
when they're TCU.
Well,
I have a hard time with this, though. You know, I was asked.
I don't think TCU should have been in the top
Texas,
4 last year.
No.
Texas
when they lost.
I agree with that.
Texas is hungry though. They were down for a long time. They beat Alabama earlier in the year. I think Texas is back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
Alabama
with the transfer quarterback from Ohio State, right?
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers. Yeah.
Well, I think it's good for college football.
Like Joe Burrow.
For Texas to be good.
So.
It's gonna be interesting. I think.
When's Ohio State fire Ryan Day?
I kind of hope it's this year.
I think it would have happened already. Although
If he loses the bowl game.
Oh, if they get
if he gets his ass handed to him in the bowl game, I think it would.
So if he loses by 3, you still don't fire him?
No, I don't think they're going to fire him.
Yeah, I would have already fired him.
Right.
But if he gets wiped,
it could happen.
Yeah. I'm not.
I think if it's a score within a score, I don't think it's going to happen. But if
they're going to give him another
if
year.
they get ass thrashed, and he has all the cards stacked against him now, and this is going back to the spread that Vegas has. Now that McCord's jumped to the transfer portal.
Is Harrison playing in that game?
I have not heard that yet. I don't know that yet. I know this. Transfer portal for Ohio State not only includes McCord, it also includes Chip Trainum. It also includes Julian Fleming.
I know Fleming's on. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, the running back?
Yeah, running back. Mayan Williams is going to go. He's going to the NFL.
Makes sense.
Oh, say. So.
Is Henderson back?
Who?
Travion Henderson back?
I haven't heard anything about him if he's going to declare or not.
Yeah, I don't know where his
draft I don't know if he's going to declare or not. So I haven't heard anything about him yet. I wish Wade was on here. He'd probably set us straight. But to be a 6.5 point favorite in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri, Colin McCord goes to transfer portal, talking to Nebraska and Matt Rule. What are they giving him out there? Are they giving him like 10 bushels of corn and $1 million? How's that going?
Why are we bashing Nebraska?
I'm just saying. I just want to know.
I mean, our first 2 years in the Big Ten, didn't we hand Ohio State their ass?
Do you really?
I do recall that.
Talking to me about Nebraska, though, do you really still want to be in the Big Ten?
The first year when
I thought it was a mistake. I understand why they left the Big 12. I do think it was a mistake.
I think they should go back to the Big 12.
Well, remember the COVID year?
Yes.
They filled out the application to go back. The Big 12 said no.
Right.
Well, I mean, the Big 12 is nothing now.
Right.
Well, I mean,
they're losing
taking
Texas, Oklahoma.
Yeah, but they're gaining some of them Pac-12 teams.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
because
the Pac-12
you're going to have the Pac-2.
Well,
right?
if you
for now.
Not.
Well,
I mean,
well, those two
there,
might go to the Mountain West.
Right. I heard that with Boise State, right?
Yeah.
Boise State might be part
Boise
of that.
State, Boise
that
State
might
Air
be
Force.
a new Power 5.
Air Force too.
Jesus, here we go. Air Force.
Colorado State.
Yeah. Ooh.
Idaho, yeah. Isn't Idaho in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
San Diego State.
I just.
They're actually ranked every
they are.
Every few
I know.
years.
I know. This was Grady Hoke's last year there.
Right.
Is it?
Where at?
At San Diego State.
San Diego State.
They actually have a
the
pretty good
Aztecs?
football program.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They're ranked like every other year. Them and Fresno State always.
Yeah, Fresno State Bulldogs.
Yep. Bulldags.
Big Dags.
Well, I think didn't they beat USC one year? And was that 2009 when we played LSU for the national title? I can't fuck.
You know what blows my mind the most is the fact that Chip Kelly, kind of on the hot seat. Chip Kelly takes care of USC. Now I'm not hearing nothing. So Chip Kelly's gonna stay there, right?
I would think.
At UCLA?
I think, and I keep saying this, that Notre Dame's fucking stupid to not join the Big Ten because it's going to be
too much money.
It's very. They would get a lot of money in the
Don't
Big
they
Ten.
lose their TV contract
Yes.
with NBC if
Yes.
Yeah, but they still get plenty of money with the Big Ten network and the conference.
the problem? The Big Ten's got too many schools. Big Ten needs to kick out Rutgers,
Oh, yeah.
Indiana,
Yeah.
Purdue, Northwestern.
I don't mind Indiana.
Actually, I'll tell you what, and if people would say Maryland, Maryland's kind of been up and coming.
Yeah, they have been.
They have been. So, but
And when they do play Ohio State, they play them
the
a
Big
hard
Ten,
3 quarters. But
the Big Ten's going to be the only conference that goes coast to coast coming next year.
Yeah,
You're going
Rutgers
like
and
Rutgers all the way to Oregon.
and I remember
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson bitching about this. He's like, "Why in the hell would you take a team in Los Angeles? Do you really want to go to Ann Arbor in December and play, or
Right.
November,
or do you
Columbus?
want to go all the way to Rutgers, New Jersey,
Yeah,
and play, or in Maryland?
I mean, and to take
Because
care,
he's a
to take
USC, wasn't he a USC guy?
And, he
Yeah.
said,
Okay.
and to take care of the players, you're going to have to play 8, 9 o'clock at night
Right.
because the whole time zone shift.
Well, and I don't know how that's going to work. So, like, I will tell you this. I do know the Michigan schedule next year because Ohio State does not play USC. I'm not sold on Lincoln Riley at USC. I mean, I know
Well,
they
they're
brought
what,
a bunch
If Mike McCarthy gets fired, he takes the Dallas job.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Not Prime?
Hell no.
Ooh, dude, all right, that actually sounds awesome. That's good TV.
The rumor is that it could be.
If you want to win championships, you don't hire Prime.
I mean, they went over the
Colorado's going to be in Chapter 11 next year because they're paying
right.
us fools too much money.
Isn't fucking USC like 7-5 this year?
and they have no quarterback. Although the transfer portal
they have no
cures
defense.
all ills, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different scenario now.
I think Colorado will be better next year. They're better than they were last year.
Well, they're going to be better because they're going to be in the Big 12 without Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
All right. I might have to go now. I know.
I should be your sponsor.
You guys talk amongst each other.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell's left in the Big 12?
I know they're bringing teams
Oklahoma
in.
State,
Oklahoma
right?
State, Kansas State,
Kansas
hoping
State's always
Nebraska goes
quality.
Texas Tech.
Oh shit!
They haven't been the same since what's his name?
Since
Pat Holmes.
Well, Pat Mahomes, but the coach, Mike Leach.
Baker Mayfield, right?
One of his many stops on his road to
Right. Him and
mediocrity.
Pat Mahomes
Hey,
and,
Cliff Kingsbury didn't
Cliff
want it.
Kingsbury,
Didn't
yeah.
want it.
Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah. So, are you pumped for the upcoming Nebraska year, or was there any good news?
I told my
Do you
wife.
like Rule? I think he's probably an upgrade of what's been there.
I mean, I was a big Scott Frost fan, but
He was a big Scott Frost.
I mean, I still am. But,
Really?
I watched him win 2 national championships for us. Now, granted, we had to split one with Michigan because of the damn media poll and not the coaches poll. But Scott Frost last year, which a lot of people, if you ain't Nebraska fan, you probably don't know. Prior to that season, the AD fired his entire coaching staff. The only coach left was Scott Frost. AD hired all the coaches around him and told him, you cannot call one play. Not on defense, not on offense. So, I mean, how as a head coach are you going to win if you can't call plays?
Yeah, I would leave that job.
So, Scott Frost last year, he was already set up to fail if he's told I can't call plays.
That was so Nebraska split with Michigan that year. I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
who
97.
split.
That was our last.
And then what was the other one? 93?
5.
95. Okay. Yeah, Nebraska was powerhouse. When they joined the Big Ten, I was kind of pumped for it because I thought we.
Well, I mean, that's when we had what's his name? Polian? Not Polian. Start with a P.
Napoleon?
Start with a P. I can't. Nebraska's
Bill Polian?
Bill.
No, that's
That Bill don't sound right. That's the
Colts
Colts
owner.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
Oh, that is.
I remember his last name started with a P. They got him. They got him. He was a D coordinator at LSU.
Ursay's cocaine brother, wasn't it? Bill Polian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ursay Senior.
Uh-huh.
But they went to beat Ohio State 2 years in a row. Went to the Big Ten championship 2 years in a row. Of course, got their asses kicked by Wisconsin both years.
Right.
But that's when Tom Osborne fired him.
I don't remember you guys beating us 2 years in a row.
Yeah, because the first year was in.
Fickle.
It was in. No, the first year was Tressel. Tressel's last year.
Okay.
It was in Nebraska, and then the second year was the Fickle year, and that was in Columbus.
Right.
Didn't we win on the Hail Mary at the end of that game? Or no, that was Wisconsin. They're all red to me.
Fuck it. Hey,
A lot of red colors in the Big Ten.
Well, do you want to talk about the half of the conference is not going to exist anymore, which is the Big Ten West?
I mean,
And how down
I don't know
that
how
whole
they're-
side of the conference is?
I don't see how they get rid
That side is down. That's why I said Nebraska just cut your losses and go back to the Big 12.
Yep.
But if the Big 12 ain't going to accept you back,
No offense.
Well, that's the thing. They should be able to win that
Wisconsin,
division.
Nebraska.
Well, there's no divisions in the Big Ten anymore, right?
Correct. It's just going to be one big conglomerate. You're going to have 1 versus 2. You're going to have
but how are you going to have a tiebreaker?
Who fucking knows?
that we talked about. We talked with.
I mean, is it going to be whatever ESPN ranks you at? That's the tiebreaker.
I'm sure there's
Well-
probably going to be points scored, point differential, something like that.
Or it could have been like this year because if Penn State would have done, if they would have won those games, they actually had the 5th tiebreaker, and they would have won the East because it was going to go back to West opponents and their record. Not the records against West opponents, just the total West record.
that division.
Well,
record.
Correct.
I'm sure.
Which is bullshit.
I'm sure they're probably going to schedule it to the point where, yeah, we're not going to play USC, but we're going to play Michigan. We're going to play Penn State. We're going to play UCLA. Like, they'll probably schedule it to the point where somebody's going to have a loss in there.
Going back to Harbaugh, too, with the whole Michigan thing, I saw the release of Michigan's schedule next year. They have to play Oregon. They have to play Washington. They have to play Ohio State. They have to play USC.
Jesus. That's a gauntlet.
That's a gauntlet.
Because, I mean, USC
where are these games at?
I don't know those yet.
Yeah.
I don't know
If
they
they're
release
home,
those.
it's going to be a lot easier.
It could be. It could be. I'll give you that.
I mean, I'm not a Michigan fan, but that's a tough place
Ohio
to play.
State does not play USC next year. Which I agree with Wade. He talked about this. I think it's a mistake.
But there is going to be a 12-team playoff next year as well.
It's going to be so good.
It's
But
gonna be so much better.
I think it should be 8.
8 or 12, but I think 12's fine.
well, here's my thing with it too.
Well, the bitch about who makes it in, who doesn't, it's constantly going to go on.
We're going to have that with the 12. You're going to have it with 16.
It's not going to be as much because even like the top 12 right now, Louisville's 13 or whatever. Do you really think? I mean,
yeah, but you're still screwing UCF when they go undefeated again.
Jesus.
I don't think so.
When they go undefeated.
Don't talk to me about Conference USA.
No, but at least you'll probably at least get one of those.
Hey, they're joining the Big 12. UCF.
Oh,
and,
are they?
And US.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Both
All
of
right,
them.
USF,
Well, hell, I mean,
the Bulls.
Liberty's fucking undefeated this
Right.
year. First year in Division 1.
19.5-point dogs against Oregon in that bowl game. Well, I already know that.
They're playing a bowl game?
Who? Liberty?
Yeah.
Yeah. They won Conference USA.
Yeah,
Well, I thought their first year.
No. That was James Madison. Same conference, but no.
So this isn't their first year in the.
No,
Division
Liberty's
one?
no Liberty. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Liberty is playing.
because Liberty
Oregon.
joined when there were 3 teams of the Conference USA left. Marshall was one. I think New Mexico State, or no, one of the New Mexico teams left.
Well, it's like Memphis.
New Mexico State.
They went to the Sun Belt.
That's who they played in the Conference USA Championship.
New Mexico State.
So then it was New Mexico that
That's
went to.
also the team that beat Auburn and fucking crushed them.
Auburn looks at the schedule. They see one game, Alabama.
Right. And that used to be the way, Michigan thought about Ohio State there for a while. But I know it's 3 in a row. I'll own it. That's fine.
Well, it's 3 in a row, but we beat them 16 out of 20 times.
Right. Correct.
keep it going.
Keep it
but
going.
You're not.
So we're not counting the John Cooper years.
That's why I said 20 years.
Well, you and I lived through that, so I know. But yeah.
Well, I mean, since 1970 was 1970.
We got. I think the same thing
15.
happened to when Cooper left and Tressel came in. Same thing happened to Lloyd Carr. Michigan went 11 games a year, but he still got fired.
Right.
Winning 11 games every year.
Right.
It was just a game he constantly lost.
At the end, he wasn't very good though. They were like 8-4, 7-5.
Well, I think that he's seen the writing on the wall.
Yeah, he did. Like Tom Osborne.
Well, it's just like, but that's the
Hey,
thing.
he ran for Senate.
That's
and won.
Ryan Day's not.
That's because you have one senator in Nebraska.
No, there's two.
I know.
Ryan Day's not going to get the
1.5.
Ryan Day's not going to get the leash that Harbaugh got, which was getting your ass kicked by 4 or 5 years in a row.
No, because
not playing in the COVID year.
To the defense of Ryan Day, who's 40-3 and inside the Big Ten with his only 3 losses against Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So in his defense, he's not going to get that. Nowadays you're not going to get what Cooper got back during the
just like the NFL
80s, 90s. You're not going to get that.
You're not going to get 4 years unless you make the playoffs or at least start winning games.
Right. So I mean, Tressel lost 1 game. He was like 6-1.
Yeah, that was 04.
Yeah, Fickle lost 8. He lost the game, and then Urban Meyer went 7-0. So that's. I actually feel with Ohio State's fan base, going back to Ryan Day too, is that if you don't beat Michigan, that feels like the season's lost. Although Urban Meyer was brought in to build a team that would win a national title, like he did at Florida. But
yeah, because you can win a national title with 1 loss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is he built that team to go ahead and compete for national titles, and Ryan Day, I feel, has done that too, where Michigan has kind of built a team to beat Ohio State because it's a stepping stone.
Right.
Not ripping on what
I would agree with that because Michigan had a lot of games that were close this year.
Well,
and they were just too focused on Ohio State.
The last 2 years, they've kind of blown us out. This year was very close in the big house.
It was very close. Now they're saying...
But the head coach wasn't on the sideline.
Okay.
It's still a win.
You got crying Sharon over there.
Right.
Okay. You're crying Sharon.
I'm not a Michigan fan.
They beat Penn State without their head coach, too. I mean, Penn State's not a slouch.
When has Penn State done anything since Joe Paul?
But they're still a
they were
quality
a lot
team.
of shit when Joe Paul was there. Them and Jerry Sandusky. Circle the wagons.
Fucking Shane Gillis.
I like to interview like an altar boy from 20 years ago.
Well, fuck Shane Gillis. He's like, he asked Taylor Lewan. He played at Michigan. He's like, what one coach you wish you would have played for? Jerry Sandusky?
All right, we're getting off track. Though McCord is definitely talking to Nebraska, and I know you're a Cornhuskers fan.
The funny thing is, I told my wife and I told Ziegler earlier in the year, if we don't make a bowl game this year, I gotta start looking for a new team.
We're gonna get on to our crying Jordan segment here.
I think that's a good feng shui.
It is. So Kyle McCord entered the transfer portal earlier this week. Gotta love that. Chris Farley, the My Pillow patch and the Nerf patch. Wade, we've been talking about this the whole season, and I said it before the Michigan-Ohio State game. I don't think Kyle McCord's going to win the game, but he could lose the game.
And he did.
I can't blame that last play on him. He was getting hit as he was throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. You got to blame that offensive line. You ain't got no time left, so right. You got to drive down. Your best protection you give Kyle McCord all year better be right now.
Yeah, but he locked onto a guy. He could have threw
Marvin Harris.
Well, I would lock on to Marvin Harris. If I had Randy Moss on my team, I'd throw him the ball 90 times a day.
They had 30 seconds.
They had 34 seconds left. It was first down. That's my problem. Is that you're not an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying Kyle McCord is, but you're not that
Well,
guy.
It wasn't even that. It was that interception on our side of the field. You stared down Marvin Harrison in the beginning of the game, and you gave Michigan the first 7 points.
First quarter,
basically.
Yeah, first quarter.
So then you're playing from behind the whole time, and that's not.
I mean, do
not
you
what
even
wanna
want
do
to
on
get
the road.
into whether it was a touchdown with Roman Wilson?
Strip?
Was that a touchdown?
It was.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion?
It was too close. I'm not mad. It was very close. Very close.
Was there
my opinion is and a lot of people don't know this. You guys probably do. When the officials look at the replay, they don't play it in slow motion and pause it. They watch it live, like real time, real speed.
I didn't know that actually.
They do. They do it in
Why
college.
would they?
They do it in college and NFL. Yes.
Why would they do that?
It's the way it's always been.
Did you know that?
I didn't know.
I did not know that.
That's why a lot of times people think, oh, they keep pausing it and watch. No, they're watching it over and over and over to see, can I see something that I missed the first 20 times I just watched this play?
Even when they do spot.
My problem.
Yeah, the spots.
My problem on the play is this: Denzel Burke, who's the best corner for Ohio State, got burned. J.J. McCarthy threw that ball in between two defenders. Burke should have turned his head around. It was an easy pick. Right there before Roman Wilson even got the ball. Why didn't he turn around? You know you have help over the top. Why aren't you turning around looking for the ball? Okay, but then he catches it at the 2, Roman Wilson. Fuck that guy. Also calling out Marvin Harrison, who had 108 yards and a touchdown in the fucking game. And, yeah, Roman Wilson, we'll see in the CFL, the fucking Calgary Flames, wherever the fuck. Okay, or he could be in the XFL, right? Maybe he's going to be on the Seattle Sea Dragons if they come around. Fuck you. My problem is Denzel Burke should have turned around. It should have come down to this. But then you definitely saw ball movement on the replay. Before he crossed the goal line, people are saying, well, that's a touchdown because it ends at the goal line. My argument's this. Whenever you have a receiver and they catch the ball, it's 1 foot in college, 2 foot in the pros, right?
Yeah.
You have to carry the ball with possession to the ground.
Yes.
So it's not a dead play, right?
Yeah, I can't even remember
because
that much of the play anymore.
Because the end zone is one gigantic rectangle.
Well, and I thought he had two. Didn't he have possession in 2 feet before he got in, or no?
We only have to have one in college.
Yeah, but to control possession when it comes to a fumble, I don't even know the college rule. That might be fucking.
Well, but the ball was caught at the 2, Roman Wilson, and then the ball moved.
Right.
And it moved this way at the 1 to the half.
That's one of those things. So
go ahead.
That's just one of those things where the rules are not going to allow that to be overturned. Mm-hmm. And like when you look at it, you know what it is, but they call it one way on the field. If they would have called it a fumble, they wouldn't have
an interception.
They wouldn't have overturned that either.
Because then Burke, and Roman Wilson got it, ripped it out. Burke has it in the end zone, but the Michigan people are saying it's a dead play.
Even if that play did go that way, I mean, Michigan was going up and down the field. Like they were hitting every 3rd down, every 4th down they went for.
And then Michigan started flexing on you in the second half, which is what Michigan's MO is. They started just running the ball.
Which we did in the second half for a drive.
Well, I'm talking about they're just burning clock.
Yeah.
And they did this to Penn State. They
didn't
like a 7-8 minute drive.
Didn't throw the second half at all.
Right. In Penn State, right. I don't know. I mean, you had the 34 seconds left. I had tape last week. We had the pod. You know, Travion Henderson was open the flat. But my problem was you never saw Kyle McCord's head ever shift away from Marvin Harrison since the ball was snapped. And I get what you're saying about the offensive lineman kind of falling down. I think those guys are taking money from Vegas, by the way. Fuck those guys. They're both down. Defensive
Calvin
end
Ridley's bookie?
Could be. Rip Calvin Ridley, by the way. Love that guy. But for your head not ever to move from Marvin Harrison, and you have Trevion Henderson in the flat, no timeouts left, 34 seconds, you could have got out of bounds.
And why are you throwing to the middle of the field with no timeouts?
In double coverage.
Yeah.
Well, you get a first down, the clock stops.
Yeah, but
it does temporarily. Temporarily.
Well, that means when you line up, don't stand there for 5 seconds calling audibles. But just run the play that's called.
My point is,
look at it. If it's open, you rip it. If it's not, you go to your check.
No, granted, you don't. The only time you stare down your receiver if it's a 5-yard slant.
Right.
Or if it's a fucking go.
But here's where it's going to
bomb.
fall back on Ryan Day. If you're Ryan Day, are you telling McCord every single play, Marvin Harrison Jr. is your first read?
Yeah.
He is. He should be your first read. But how fast are you going, that's covered, here's my outlet? Because on that play, his eyes were just like in the first quarter. They were right there the whole time. Trevion Henderson was out in the flat, could have just dumped it down, got it out of bounds, lived another
Would have
day.
got 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. Maybe.
It was first down.
Well, I don't know if he would have got a first down.
It doesn't matter because the game's over.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Well, and it might be the best thing because that means McCord's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but shouldn't you also blame this on coaching? Don't stare down your receiver. It's the last game of the
That's
season.
what I'm saying. It's Ryan Day.
First year starter.
Right.
And he's not, he wasn't a...
Boom, Harrison's covered, out to the flat.
I mean, not everybody can be
Tom Brady
with...
Oh, Jesus, I knew that was coming.
Let me get to it. Tom Brady with Charlie Weiss or Tom Brady with Josh McDaniels. Okay, those games when there's a minute or less left, you got maybe one timeout at most. You got to drive downfield to get a touchdown, not a field goal. The pass play is called. You had 3 looks. Your primary, your secondary, your third look was dump it off to the running back.
Right.
If none of them 3 are open, you throw it away.
Yeah,
to save the clock.
You have James White out there too, right?
That's the running back.
Which I totally
and prior to that, Kevin Falk.
Totally underrated. Corey Dillon.
Corey wasn't a screen guy. He just stood there and blocked.
Yeah, he would just bash people.
Kevin Falk, man, he was awesome.
I loved Kevin Falk.
But I mean,
Troy
Brown. That was my first Patriot. Well, other than the Bledsoe jersey.
Deion Branch.
Do
you have a Bledsoe jersey? You still have it?
The old one, the light blue, blue with the head hair.
I
got that, and then when they changed colors, my next jersey was Troy Brown. I love to play.
Do you have
play defense?
Played defensive back.
Old Patriots insignia on it. Looks like the guy's bending over about taking up.
Still looks like that before.
Oh, you mean that one?
Yeah, that one.
No, it was.
I like those uniforms though.
It was the light blue one, the one that Parcells designed, and then the ones that they wore the Brady years was the one Belichick designed.
All right, let's get on with the Crying Jordan segment. Josh, you never really told me. Do you have a Crying Jordan nominee this week?
I've been on the fence between 2.
Go ahead.
First one is Sean McDermott. Dude, you're fired.
Oh, I read this story this afternoon.
You are fired. The only thing that saves his job is if he goes to a Super Bowl. He ain't got to win. You better go to a Super Bowl. Otherwise, he's done. He's fired.
I read this story this afternoon, and I actually was going to throw it out there tonight for tonight's pod, but McDermott apparently is getting a lot of scrutiny because of his comparison, his locker room speech. Oh, God. It's so good. No, he wants Sean McDermott from the Bills.
Yeah, I can't
bring up a Bills Crying Jordan. That'd be the one. There's that poor bastard. Right. No, but Sean McDermott is under a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And I have an opinion on it.
We've talked about it this year. I didn't think he was on the hot seat. But
I didn't either.
Well, after what came out this morning.
Here's what happened, though. Apparently, Sean McDermott, Ryan, if you didn't hear this story, McDermott was accused of, in the locker room in 2019, comparing what the Bills need to do to the 9/11 attacks.
he had brought up that the terrorists worked together as a group in order to do all this stuff. So you need to work together as a group in order to win games.
Right.
And then he says he apologized the next day.
I'm going to throw my first opinion. Is Josh Allen a terrorist on his own? Because he just launches shit. Oh, can I say that? He's throwing balls.
Throwing IEDs.
Well, he was throwing interceptions in college.
Jesus.
Everybody knew, but he's still a hell of a quarterback.
I would have took him.
So the story.
I would have too.
Yeah,
every time.
Yep. The story came out today. You and I were on the same page. I read this afternoon. So
I want to know is one, what player gave this to the media?
Right.
And two, why did it take
Especially
so long?
4 years
so that
later,
tells you now
something's going on.
The locker room doesn't want McDermott there.
That is my point. That's my second opinion is they want him out. You got Sean McDermott has lost the locker room.
He threw Ken Dorsey under the bus and fired him, thinking
right.
that.
Right.
And it wasn't Ken Dorsey.
That was going to be my point. Sean McDermott has lost the locker room because you got players that are going behind his back, squawking to the media. So Sean McDermott's done.
So you'd almost have to make a list of what players were there in 2019.
Regardless of the players.
That's what I want to know because
you may never find that information
That was
out.
their first playoff year with Josh Allen, I think.
Well, he was drafted in 2018, right?
Well, one, do you keep that player who's going to be chirping shit to the media?
Well, they
Is
probably
it
don't
Stephon
know.
Diggs?
Probably, because he
getting the fucking ball.
He wasn't there yet.
Oh, that's right. He's in Minnesota. That's right. Was it the following year?
I think so.
Okay.
I can't remember.
But regardless of that, my whole opinion of it is that you've already lost your locker room.
Right.
Those guys are trying to push your ass out the door. Because if you're winning and winning that division like you should have been winning that division, not Miami, the players would be happy and not throwing you under the bus,
or
right?
at least pretty damn close.
Right.
Miami's tough.
They are tough.
But
They could be the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC, though.
I was just getting ready to say,
Yeah.
you ain't beat a good team yet.
Right. Thank you.
Now, I do say Dallas wins this weekend.
they're not the team they have been the last couple of years, that's for sure.
Right.
But we need to roll on here. We're going on 2 hours here, brother.
Perfect. All right. So, what do we have up next? Crying Jordan segment.
The Knowles, is that yours this week?
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely mine.
I'm going with the best one first. Dude, the fucking horse's
The
face.
whole Florida State faction down there in Tallahassee, they're just, whatever.
Well, can I ask a question
Go
about
ahead.
that? Is the CFP woke, and that's why they kept Florida State out because they don't want a Native American in?
Maybe. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
But they did let the Longhorns in, and their farts are ruining the ozone layer. So
True. Another great point.
Yeah, thank you, Al Gore.
Right. Fuck you, Bebo. Great point. I never thought about that, Ryan. Go ahead. I like the one that's really similar to the Redskins, though, that I say.
Oh, yeah. Which one was that? That was the emblem.
Oh. Jordan Ward, this goes out to you, buddy.
That's fucking beautiful.
Oh, it's so bad. I do. I feel for those athletes. We talked about it.
I did, yeah. I would be fucking pissed. And
There's
then
so many.
There's another one. Oh, yep.
Oh,
also
yeah.
perfect.
The crying Jordan with the fucking eye pain. I love it.
I think that might be the last. Or
Could be.
No, the Will Smith one.
Oh, yeah. Will Smith, of course.
Got to get a cuck CJ every time.
All right. The other story that ESPN put out on top of that was the whole footage of Brittany Griner getting out of prison. How fucking woke is ESPN? Who cares? Do you care?
What? Nobody gives.
She should still be there.
I agree with you.
You broke Russian law.
I agree with that too.
Right. Well, and especially to give up what we had to give up.
And what's the footage?
You got Marines over there.
Right.
Why the fuck, like, yeah, negotiate her release, but don't, what the fuck?
So, this crying Jordan goes out to the WNBA and Brittany Griner right here.
Wait, which one?
The whole United States.
Oh, okay.
Suffering through another ESPN who gives a fuck.
Huh? Well.
And the WNBA and who cares?
And, there should be even a bigger CJ in this area right here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, nobody gives a shit about fucking women or the WNBA.
I do like to bet on it.
Actually, hey, what is there should be a bet. How much money did it take to get her out compared to the salary of the entire WNBA roster?
Perfect.
Which one?
This
costs
goes
more?
back to the Clay Travis you saw about.
Which one costs
the
more?
Clay Travis bet, right?
Yeah.
You've heard about this, right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it for like a week, but it's a total thing. And the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces are not. They're not saying anything, or ESPN. They're fucked either way because if the Aces go ahead and take this bet and they get their shit pushed in, it's gonna fuck ESPN and all the damn WNBA touting bullshit. So they can't win, even if they're gonna get owned. There's guys on that high school roster
that are 6'9",
6'8",
6'10".
6'9". The top girl on the Aces is 6'3".
Well,
okay.
Well, Brittany Griner is like 6'9". Isn't she like
No, yeah, but she's not on the Aces.
Yeah, right.
Okay, whatever.
She's probably the biggest.
Tom Brady is not going to let her.
Is he backing Brittany Griner?
No, he's not going to let her on the team. He owns part of it.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Shit. When he signed when he signed
with
the
the
deal,
Raiders.
it was
that
came
all
over.
right. Okay.
Because I remember when they won the WNBA title, he was sitting courtside and says, "Oh look, Tom Brady wins another ring,"
Right.
and he didn't even
LeBron
play.
Did last night.
Right.
Don't get me started on that asshole.
What's more of a ring? LeBron winning the in-season NBA tournament, or Tom Brady winning a Brittany Griner ring?
Tom Brady's shit don't stink. So
All right. Okay, Ryan. What do we got? Steeler Nation for last night.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, debt of gratitude to you. First, go ahead. And
no,
take
I was
care of
going to
Steelers.
say that the other crying Jordan I was thinking of is Bob Kraft. Because winning that game last night, now you screwed everything up.
I should have put a CJ over the Patriots logo there too.
Right. I've seen those actually. That's good. Oh, so good.
Put them on all the zeros and of course the final score. And this is definitely I just love to see. You love to see it.
Fucking terrible towels. Hopefully they had some smelling salts up in there. Because you guys are dead. Fuck you guys.
And you got to go with the classic.
Oh yeah, that's so good. That's fantastic.
And of course, the man, the myth, the legend,
Mike Tomlin himself getting the CJ.
It just molded so perfectly into the beard and the nose.
I like these
and the
right
eyes,
here.
yeah.
Just the eyes right here. All right. Well, I guess it's 2 hours. We should be wrapping this up. So
yeah, this wood is starting to really hurt my ass.
Get off of Watson's lap.
Oh. Right, my leg's going to sleep. Usually Wade's over here.
I was just getting ready to say. Usually Mark Wade's sitting on his lap.
Wade was over here. It smelled like fart in here.
Oh God.
No, because he washes his beard and douche, so that's all he was saying.
Oh. Massengill. All right. I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Wow, I appreciate the invite.
Please coming on. Yeah, no. Please come back.
Yes.
Come back. So, because we can't get Wade the fuck on here anymore.
He's got kids.
Even though
He
he's
does. I got kids too, so. But
They're locked in the basement.
We can't.
Tied to the radiator.
So definitely come back. We appreciate you coming on. Definitely, if you wouldn't mind, share this to any Facebook friends if you have, all 2 of them. Share this out. Subscribe to us on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, right? Facebook. Yep. Trying to build our subscribers up. We're going to succumb Pat McAfee at some point. We just got to get the right chemistry, everything. Nobody wants.
So I need to wear my wife beater then?
Yeah. Nobody wants to see me like in an armless shirt.
We should probably get maybe some domestic violence on tape. That might.
That would be good too. That'd be good too.
Hey, McAfee's got a Pats fan on the show.
He does, and a Steelers fan. Poor bastard.
I mean, hell, he's a fucking.
He's
Yinzer.
an Indy fan.
Well, he's a Yinzer. Well, he's an Indy fan because he played there.
Right.
But he's a fucking Yinzer. You know who he rooted for growing up. But
absolutely.
He does like the brands.
All right. RawDawgers out.
Out.